Welcome back to Man Down Sports, man. As you can see from the thumbnail, we got a good episode for y'all this time, man. Well, like every time we got a good episode for y'all. So I'm gonna give y'all a chance to get in here on the live, man. Y'all let me know in the comment section where y'all coming from. What's good, James? Let me know where y'all coming from in the comment section, man. And let me know if you're new to the channel too. Sometimes this could be your first time catching a live, man. So we definitely live. We definitely gonna have live call-ins. Um, I need to see my moderators in there as well. Moderators, let me know when y'all get in here. But yeah, so this episode is going to be a good one. We got a lot of stuff we got to get into, man. The Warriors, that's going to be a big topic. Definitely some things Shaquille O'Neal said. Definitely some more things about the Bomber mentality and Kobe Bryant, man. And as always, man, Detroit in the house. What's going on? That's what I'm talking about, man. What up, though? Somebody from Facebook said Cuzzo. Hey, whoever on Facebook, I can't see who you are, man. If you go to YouTube and watch us from YouTube, I'll be able to see who you are. For some reason, StreamYard don't let Facebook. Well, you gotta get StreamYard permission to use your name on when you're using Facebook, man. So I see all the Facebook comments coming in, and I don't even know who it is. Liquid Swords, what's good? Unpopular Truth, what's going on, big dog? Levante Thompson, what's good? What's good? What's good? Best show on YouTube, man. I appreciate that, Ali. Definitely, man. Hey, since everybody enjoying the show, hit that share button. Make sure you hit the like button as soon as you come in, man, because a lot of times we get rolling and people forget to hit the like button. And that like button is like a heartbeat for us, man. It keeps the YouTube algorithm pumping more, more activity into the channel or into the video itself. So I appreciate everybody that's hitting the like button, and to those for you who not hitting the like button, do me a favor and do that. All right, so we got some people in here. I don't see no moderators yet. Okay, Liquid Swords, I see one moderator. Uncle Senior, was good? Was good? Peace, family. Yeah. So I got at least one moderator in here, so we can get popping. This episode is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the best place to play fantasy sports. I want to tell you about the easiest way to get in on some NBA action with Underdog Fantasy and their pick'em game. Just find your favorite player, or any player for that matter, pick higher or lower on that player's stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in one night. Pick between 2 or 5 players to fill your pick'em entry. Get every pick right, and you can net yourself some serious cash. Use the promo code Man Down Sports, and you can get your deposit doubled up to $100. You got to check on the map to make sure your state is eligible to play Underdog Fantasy. But as soon as you do, and if your state is, go ahead and download Underdog Fantasy's app. Use the promo code Man Down Sports, and you can, like I said, you can get that $100 match on your first deposit. And I would want to thank Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring Man Down Sports. All right, man. Let's go ahead and get started, man. Before we get started, man, if y'all like the t-shirt, the No Diddy t-shirt, man, I make it available in the merch store or the store section on the channel. But also, if you go to the description box and on YouTube, you'll see where I got it made at. If you're local in California, where I'm at, I got the address and the email address and all that stuff. If you want to purchase it from that store. But yeah, the No Diddy, we own that, man. So if y'all like the shirt, man, y'all can get it that way. DC Slim in the house. All right, we got some more moderators. But let's go ahead and get started, man. I'm gonna go ahead and go through this one rather quickly, because I've already talked about the Warriors multiple times. You can go to some of my old videos on Draymond Green, on Golden State, on Steph Curry, on Steve Kerr, and I've been telling y'all 2 years ago, after they won the championship, I've been telling them they have to move on from what they call the core three. You got to move on from Clay and Draymond and rebuild around Steph Curry. You have to. And there was a couple of ways you could have done it, right? And I talked about it. If you want to pull the plug completely on them, you would have had to trade them, because Draymond was in the contract year, and now Clay is in the contract year this year. Draymond was seeking him and his Clutch Sports because he signed the Clutch Sports. So it was very obvious what they were seeking. They were seeking close to a max deal, and they wanted to, get multiple years on there, which was going to handicap Golden State for the long run and for the short run, because you see right now, there was a bad team last year and there was a bad team. There's still a bad team, right? But now they've already done half of the job by re-signing Draymond Green to an extension that he was asking for. Now you kind of got to give it to Clay, because the whole purpose of you doing it is because you wanted to keep Clay, Steph, and Draymond together. They wanted to keep the core three together, which was a mistake. Now, they had two options. They could have talked them into getting team-friendly contracts, or they could have just traded both of them. They could have traded Draymond last year when he was in the contract year, and they could have traded Clay this year while he's in the contract year, right? That's what I would have done. But now they stuck with him, and they barely can make the playoffs, right? So I'm going to play for you Tim Legner and Greeny discussing it on ESPN, or was it, I don't know what show they on, ESPN, Fox, whatever show they on. They was discussing it, and I'm gonna come back with my commentary.
And that brings us back to the Warriors. This is a team that when they were eliminated last year in the second round by the Lakers, their coach Steve Kerr said, this team maxed out. We accomplished everything we were capable of. They spent a ton of money, and I mean a ton of money, to put together this year's team. And now here they are. They may not even make the play-in. Are we seeing the end? Is it over? This Warriors dynasty, is it over?
Yeah, I think the way I would look at that is the Steph Curry era. Is that over? Will Steph Curry have another opportunity to win a championship? Assuming he does not play for another franchise, I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think there's great answers here on what to do exactly. And it's easy to say, oh, blow it up. If they get eliminated, they don't make the play-in, or they lose one game and they're out, just blow it all up. Well, it's hard. You don't have the assets to just blow it up and rebuild with the type of players in their prime around Steph Curry to go make another run at this. You don't have a choice if Steph Curry's on your roster. Each year, you're trying to be competitive. You're not going to take a guy in his mid-30s now that's had that kind of career and say, you know what, we're going to have a 2 or 3 year plan here to get competitive again. It just doesn't work that way. You're going to try to continue to retool around what you have and address weaknesses and address needs, because they don't have the assets, Greeny, to go out and turn this into some super team around Steph Curry.
He's 36, by the way, for those wondering how old Steph is. I keep bringing this up. The idea of him calling up his good buddy LeBron James and Draymond's good buddy LeBron James and talking him into taking that flight up from LA to San Francisco for one season. I keep telling you, that is a possibility, and that could be the one little loophole in this that we're not seeing.
That's going to stay in the air because it's such an interesting dynamic. I personally don't think that would ever happen, but I understand why you want to stir the pot with that. It's an interesting storyline, and it might be, the one opportunity Steph Curry would have. That pairing might be the only opportunity they would have, and a lot of that would come down to LeBron James' wishes.
Right. Well,
so listen, this is hindsight. This is them talking about it after we're almost at the playoffs. We done passed the All-Star game. We passed the midway point, and whatever your team is now is basically what they are, right? This is, there's no more excuses. We're still gelling up. No, there's no excuses. Whatever the team is now is what they're showing you is what they actually are. And the Warriors are showing us they're not a contender. They're showing us they're almost showing us they're trash, right? This is not a good basketball team, despite all these great pieces they got. Despite all of that trash Steve Kerr talking about, we need Draymond. We're not a championship team without Draymond. And he did all that lobbying and fighting for Draymond to get re-signed. And you talked Joe Lacob into spending all this money. All right, look, listen, because I'm pretty sure Joe Lacob had to sit down with the GM, Bob Myers, before he resigned. And Bob Myers might have told him, this is what we need to do moving forward. Bob Myers had everything in place. He drafted Wiseman. He drafted Kuminga. He drafted Moody. He drafted Poole, right? He went and traded for Wiggins. He had the new squad that was supposed to retool around Steph Curry ready. Gary Payton was a part of that. They had everything ready for Draymond, Clay, Iguodala to ride off into the sunset, take all the money that they got in the 4 rings they got, go and make your money somewhere else. But we're still trying to keep the Golden State Warriors rolling. And we can do that with Steph. Steph, he aged like fine wine. He stood the test of time, but we need young guns around him. We need to retool. We need something different. We need something that's not going to break the bank, right? Because where we at with Clay and Draymond right now is that they want max money. They think they deserve max money, and they're going to ask for max money regardless what they're producing on the floor, right? So they was able to hide behind the Jordan Poole situation with Draymond Green last year and blame how bad they were as a team on, okay, the locker room was split and we just wasn't a good team because Poole was here, and what happened was whatever, it messed the chemistry up. So they thought that, okay, we just get rid of Poole and the chemistry will be, it'll just bounce right back. But that's not how it works. Because I explained this, when you have a team, when you have two separate teams within one locker room, and by two separate teams, I mean Steve Kerr, Draymond, Clay, and Steph. Those four are their own separate team. They call those three guys the core three. Even when KD showed up, Bob Myers, Draymond Green, and whoever else you want to say Bob Myers said it as a joke at the parade after they won the first championship. He said it as a joke. It was supposed to be a joke, but he said it. You wasn't here originally. You're not part of the original core three. So, that he said it as a joke, and that wasn't funny. So Bob Myers let it slip out as a joke, and then Draymond Green let it slip out when he was pissed out at that Clippers game in an argument. We won without you. We don't need you. And then called him the B word. Right. So when you let it slip out, it comes from the front office. It slips out like that. Then his player says it when he's pissed off. I'm like, man, how many of y'all think like that? Like, do y'all all not appreciate me? Like, I'm the first or at the very least second best player in the league, and you're talking to me like that? I'm a B, and we won without me, and y'all don't need me. I'm not part of the core three. So that's the best player in the league. They made it obvious. Listen, we got our own thing. We go be the core three before you came, and we go be the core three after you leave. And the front office feel like that too. And when the front office say it as a joke, and Draymond Green, who's the vocal leader of the whole team and the whole locker room, says it, and then nobody comes out and kind of say, nah, we don't think that. Like, what's supposed to happen when you say something stupid like that, as far as Draymond Green saying something like that, Steph Curry, as the leader of the team, should come and say, nah, KD, that's not how we feel. He tripping. Well, I know your worth. I know we need you. Right. That's what KD said when he went on Draymond Green's podcast, and he asked him, man, what made you leave? Was it me when I said that? And he explained it wasn't the fact that you said it. It was the fact that everyone around us act like nothing happened. So he was telling people no one came and cleared that up. So that left Kevin Durant feeling like, oh man, I'm an outsider, and I've been here for 4 years, and I'm still considered an outsider. I brought y'all 2 championships, and y'all still consider me an outsider, and I'm the best player in the league, and y'all still consider me an outsider. That's how y'all feel about me? So yeah, he was out the door. He knew he was out. So that's a whole separate team. And Steve Kerr is part of that mess because he supports it 100%, right? It's a whole separate team. So now that whole separate team is placed in a different area than the rest of the team, or including KD. Now KD's out of there. Now what happens after that? Draymond Green has another opportunity to make it clear to someone, hey, it's me, Clay, and Steph, and y'all just outsiders. He made that clear when he punched Jordan Poole. And the front office again made it clear that we're on Draymond Green's side because he's part of the original core three. So what did they do? They didn't punish Draymond Green at all. So what does that show Jordan Poole? Man, y'all don't even care about me. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. I'm gonna sign this contract because this is my first contract. That's gonna be a big contract, and I might not get it nowhere else if I get traded. So I'm gonna keep my mouth shut and sign this contract. But what you lose is now you lose Jordan Poole mentally, and when you're playing for a team, you have to be connected, right? Anything that's putting a wedge in between you and your teammates is going to be an issue. So you got to be connected. So Jordan Poole is not there mentally. On top of the fact that now the front office and Steve Kerr all supporting this, they didn't even punish him. So now you're, as a front office, you're showing Jordan Poole, just like you showed Kevin Durant, that, hey man, Draymond Green is part of the core three. He can do whatever he want. He can say whatever he want. He can offend whoever he want. We go support him because he's part of the core three, right? And he's part of a exclusive team that you're not a part of. So we go take his side. They didn't even punish him, right? So now Jordan Poole, you can't run through a brick wall for an organization that you feel like that about, or you feel like feels like that about you. Now I can't run through a brick wall. So now you got somebody on the court. I'm going to play hard. I'm going to play my best. But it's a different level when you run through a brick wall for someone. You get what I'm saying? You ever seen one of those marriages where, you know, the love is gone a little bit, right? And, you know, they still love each other. So they still go show up and do what they need to do as husband and wife, as parents or whatever. But it's a different level when you run through a brick wall for that person. It's just a quite different level. You know what I mean? You know, she catch that flat tire on the highway and it's raining. Yeah, you might call the tow truck, you know, but years before that, you might show up in the rain and change that flat for, because you would run through a brick wall for this woman. Or if it's on the man side, you know, you got that headache, you might not go down there and cook that dinner for him and have it ready for him before he get home from work. But when you was madly connected and you run through a brick wall for him, you go ahead and pop that Tylenol and go down there and make sure that happen. You get what I'm saying? So Jordan Poole didn't have that no more. I don't want to run through a brick wall for you no more. So Jordan Poole lost that. But guess what? Jordan Poole showed up as a newcomer with other players. He showed up with Moses Moody. He became very good friends with Dante DiVincenzo when he was on that squad. Gary Payton Jr. showed up around the same time Jordan Poole did. Wiggins showed up around the same time Jordan Poole did. Right? So you get all these newcomers that are probably closer to Jordan Poole than they are to the core three, because the core three make themselves a separate team. So these people was connected to Jordan Poole. So now I got a chance to see what Draymond did to Jordan Poole, and then I got a chance to see how the front office and the coaching staff responded to it. And y'all showed Jordan Poole, y'all didn't give two craps about him. Now I can't run through a brick wall for you either. Notice the guys that are not playing that well are not connected mentally. Wiggins don't seem to be there. Dante DiVincenzo declined his player option and went to New York. Where is Gary Payton? Kuminga's locked in but Kuminga asked for a trade earlier this season. He had to force them to play him. Why was it hard for them to put Kuminga on the floor? Because Clay and Draymond would have been upset if their minutes would have got taken by Kuminga. I've been calling for Kuminga minutes for 2 years. Go back and look at all my videos on Golden State. What I'm saying now, I've been saying for 2 years. When Boston played Golden State in the finals and Draymond Green was unplayable, they had to bench him in order to win games. That's when I knew it's time for him to go. The right move for Golden State was say bye-bye to Draymond, say bye-bye to Clay, and they were supposed to move forward with Wiggins, Wiseman, Kuminga, Jordan Poole, Gary Payton, Moses Moody, and Steph Curry. That's what they were supposed to do. But Steve Kerr, we cannot play. We can't win without Draymond. We're not a championship team without Draymond. Well, if that's the case, we need to find a new coach. If you because something's not adding up. If you're telling me if you're telling me Steph Curry is a great leader, you're telling me he's a player that's on a level of all the greats, and you telling me he's still playing like he's in his prime. If all of those things are true, then how come you can't as a coach figure out how to win with him without a role player? Something is not true. If you're telling me because we know we don't need Draymond Green because he's providing that much offensive punch. His defense is great, but his defense ain't that great that you can't lose him. And you still got Steph. Like, the way they're saying it, if we lose Draymond, it's over. We're not a contender. Well, guess what? You kept Draymond and you're still not a contender. So now as an owner, when you convince me to spend his money on Draymond Green and trying to convince me to spend his money on Klay Thompson this summer, I'm asking you, how the hell? Why did I let y'all talk me into signing this dude if we still go keep losing? You told me we wasn't a contender without Draymond, as if we keep Draymond, we go contend. And we're not contending. We in the 10th seed. If we lose to the Lakers, or no, not the Lakers, who they play tonight? Don't know who they play tonight, but if they lose tonight, they're gonna be in the 11th seed. Because the Rockets go overtake them in the 10th seed, which needs to happen because the Rockets are playing better basketball. Winners are 8 straight, 9 straight, maybe. I would love to see the Rockets. But then you get people on ESPN saying, man, the playoffs is not the playoffs without LeBron and Steph. That's how they talking. Oh, we got to have LeBron and Steph. That's probably what they're saying in the NBA front office. How can we figure out how to get the Warriors and the Lakers in there? Because the fan base is so huge. We got to have them in there, right? And what they said toward the end, don't be surprised if LeBron end up with Golden State next year. Don't be surprised. They got to figure out a way to squeeze more juice out of the lemon. You know, if Steph can't get to the playoffs with his team as constructed, and neither can LeBron, well, how about we put them together? That'd be so well. I mean, man, think about the tickets we'll sell with that, right? LeBron fan base added to Steph's fan base and the Golden State Warriors fan base. Yikes, big time, right? So, that's my thoughts on that, man. I'm gonna open the phone lines up and get y'all thoughts on it, man, before I move on to this next topic. But yeah, I just don't understand how people didn't see this for what it was. They're not a good basketball team, and you can't convince me Draymond Green didn't mess it up. That's why I put on there. Draymond Green is punching holes in the ship, and the ship is sinking, and they expect Steph to clog all those holes up and plug the holes up. He punched a hole in there when he got rid of when he ran KD off. He literally punched Poole, probably almost punched a hole in him too. Punched a hole in the ship, then got rid of Poole, and he was supposed to help you carry you. You know, him and Steph was supposed to help carry the next 5 years of the team. He ran him off. Like you running off all the people that were supposed to be the players that's supposed to carry this team into the next 5 years. Imagine if KD was still there with Steph right now, and we see how he playing. Imagine if KD was still there with Steph. They'll still be contending. You know, so no, I don't agree that they're not a championship thing without Draymond Green, because what they showing us now is even with him, they're not a championship team. And he's healthy. Steph is healthy. Everybody's healthy. Clay is healthy. You know, what they told us is that no one has ever beaten us when we was healthy. That's what Draymond Green kept saying on his podcast after he won that championship. When we're healthy, nobody can beat us. Okay, all right. Well, you got beat last year, and you probably not even gonna make the playoffs this year. Right. So it looks like to me, what Isaiah Thomas said about KD is that he came and saved y'all legacy, because that one championship y'all got, and then y'all lost the next one. That was gonna be it for y'all. That y'all was basically what the Detroit Pistons was with Rasheed and Chauncey Billups. They got to one finals, won it, right? Got to another one, and then lost it to San Antonio, and then after that, they didn't get back to another one, right? That was where the Golden State was going. That was going to be it. They had 2 phenomenal runs, and then it was over. But what happened? KD joined them, and when KD joined them, he breathed new life into that team, and now we got something else, and they went on another 3 straight finals, right? Won 2 of them. Only lost because KD tore his Achilles, but that was supposed to be it. They would have been the one and done, 1 ring and 2 finals appearances, and Steph had his 2 MVPs, and that was gonna be it. And he was gonna finish his career without no finals MVPs. That was gonna be it. KD changed it, and when the KD came and gave y'all 2 more, now you got 3. And then when KD left, it would have been over again. But guess what? KD was very generous and said, you know what? Instead of me walking and just going over to Brooklyn and signing, I do a sign and trade so y'all can get an asset back. You know, so instead of him going to Brooklyn and telling Brooklyn, hey, whatever changes y'all want to make, go ahead and make it. The Brooklyn could have traded D'Angelo Russell and got multiple pieces for D'Lo. They could have got draft capital. They could have got a good vet for D'Lo. You know, because they had to get rid of D'Lo anyway to clear cap space and a position for Kyrie Irving. You know, you're not gonna have Kyrie and D'Lo in the backcourt. So D'Lo knew he had to go money wise and position wise, right? So they could have easily went and made that happen in Brooklyn, but instead KD was like, all right, I do a sign and trade with y'all so y'all can get something back for me and just y'all won't lose me for nothing, So that he didn't have to do that, but they got D'Lo back and they traded D'Lo mid-season for Andrew Wiggins, and the rest is history. Andrew Wiggins was very instrumental in that playoff run and their finals run. Caller from North Carolina, what's up?
What's up? This Jamal from North Carolina. I called in before.
What's good?
But yeah, man, the Warriors, man, they deserve everything that they getting right now, for real. That's how I feel. Like, when you bet on Draymond Green after all those mistakes, you kind of deserve what you get. Like, for their last finals, the last finals that they won, he wasn't as pivotal as Jordan Poole. And he got jealous and he got mad because Jordan Poole was about to get that money. So
Facts.
I think it's all on Draymond Green, for real. Like, the Warriors, after you keep on dealing with somebody that messed up, and like you said, Jordan Poole, he one of those guys. He was rolling. He was confident. Yeah, he was trash talking. He's young. But, Draymond Green got in his feelings, punched him in his face, and then messed up the chemistry. But I think what messed it up even more was you get to the playoffs, and Draymond is still being Draymond, and they still let it rock.
Yep.
So I think he was just looking like, come on, man. I don't even want to play here no more. You just let him do whatever he wants. When are y'all going to do something about this?
And I don't think it's just Jordan Poole. I think all the newcomers is looking at it like, man, what the heck are they doing? Like, seriously? Like, does he got separate rules from what we doing? Like, we can't do that. Y'all really telling me that it's okay for him to do all of that? Y'all need that?
Right? And especially when you're not producing. He ain't producing like he was before.
Exactly.
So now you really destroying our team from the inside out.
That's what you doing.
Me personally, I feel like it was, I feel like it's a whole, once he got mixed up with clutch sports and all that stuff, I feel like all that stuff started deteriorating everything. But, when you trade away your young talent, it ain't like the young talent that they did have was bad either. The young talent that they had was good, and they started rolling. So, once you give them up for Draymond Green, it kind of sucks because then you don't get the production. Everything that they lacking is the stuff that they gave up.
Exactly. They lacking rim. They lacking a athletic big that can block shots at the rim, and that was what Wiseman was. You know why I think they gave up on Wiseman? Because Wiseman is too good offensively to do what Looney does. Looney is just there to rebound and play defense, and as soon as he get the rebound, he looking for Steph or Clay. Wiseman wanted to score. So they, when he got injured and when he came back, they sent him to the G League, and everybody was like, man, can he not play? No, they didn't send him to the G League because he couldn't play. They sent him to the G League because they were trying to drive the point home that he needs to play a certain way. Right. And then he wanted more, and they end up trading him. So he and plus Draymond and Clay felt threatened by him because if you're playing a 7-footer at the forward position or the center position, you're going to kind of lose the opportunity to play Draymond Green big minutes because a lot of times they go small and Draymond Green is their center.
Yeah, and that's why I say they should have got him up out of there.
Yeah, everything that threatened Draymond from continuing to be a Warrior and continue to get his money, they made it. It was almost like they purposely made it not work so they can get rid of. They got rid of Wiseman, they got rid of KD, they got rid of Poole.
Right, and they detrimental. Those big guys that you need right now. Even if Imagine Chris Paul if he had Jordan Poole right now, and Jordan Poole was able to play off him. That would be good for Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
They just messed it up for themselves. When they traded away Jordan Poole and they traded away the rest of the guys, I told my brothers, I said, bro, this is the disease of Draymond Green right here, man.
That's exactly what it is.
Everything you get.
Yeah.
I could see you keeping Clay because Clay got injured, but at a certain point, you got to make those tough decisions and be like they already did. Clay should have been on the bench a while ago and should have stayed on the bench,
Yeah.
it's just decisions that you should have made earlier when you saw this coming. But when you think you ahead of everybody, you think you ahead of the curve, when you're not no more. Everybody's playing like y'all. Everybody could do what y'all do, and y'all don't have the skill no more.
Yeah.
Clay's not Clay. Draymond's not Draymond, and the only person who can really do it is Curry. So you get those guys up out there, and when you got that chemistry rolling, how you had it rolling when the finals was here, when Wiggins was out there too, you got Wiggins and Poole and Curry. They already look good, and then you would have Kuminga rolling too, and then Wiseman. Come on now, you gotta eventually give up on some guys, man. That's the difference with the Bulls. Like the only guy that stayed the same was kind of Mike and Pippen.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure if Pippen got to the point where he couldn't produce the way like a Clay or somebody like that couldn't produce, I felt like he would have been up out of there too.
Well, I mean that's why the Last Dance exists. Pippen back was just bothering him too much, and Jerry Krause wanted to get rid of Pippen and replace him, and Phil Jackson was asking for too much money, so he had already said that he getting rid of Pippen and Phil. You know, they was ready to retool around Mike, but Mike said, I'm not gonna play without Pippen and Phil. So if the GOAT player, the GOAT coach, and the GOAT co-star can't get another extension after they don't want a three-peat, man, why the heck are we giving Clay and Draymond an extension after they got put out in the second round?
Exactly.
Crazy. But yeah, exactly. I'm gonna take some more phone calls, man. I appreciate the call.
Yeah, man. Nice talking to you.
All right, thanks. Thanks for the super chat, Kobe Bryant Film Room. Rod, you can call back. Kobe Bryant Film Room. They should have drafted LaMelo then. I mean, no, not really. I mean, who was all in that draft? Why they took Wiseman #1, and then LaMelo and Anthony Edwards was in that draft, right? The right pick would have been Edwards if Edwards was in that draft. I'm not sure. Let me look it up. Rod, what's up?
What's happening, man?
What's good?
Hey, I'm glad to see this topic. You know, I spoke to you before on this Draymond, Golden State Warriors, and I would go further to the NBA as a league to allow what this man has done. You know, to get away with the things that he has gotten away with. Not just the Golden State Warriors. Yeah, the NBA, you know, to also allow the Golden State Warriors to let him get away with some of the things that he get away with.
Correct.
And when Wiggins, you know, he kind of got ebbs and flows, ups and downs, you know. For a while they were like, Wiggins ain't playing the way he was. Why? Do you know what may, I'm just saying may, what might be going through his head? We can see what happened to Jordan Poole.
Right.
You know, and when other young players, they know what happened. They know it's a cohesive bond with Curry, Clay, Draymond.
Yep.
They ain't going nowhere.
Yep.
And it seems like everybody is afraid of Draymond. Curry ain't going to speak against him. Clay ain't going to speak against him. And we already see the Golden State Warriors is not going to get rid of him. So they have it's going to be a consequence. And when they fall, they're going to, you know, fall hard because a lot of players, as long as they got that squad there, they're going to look at it like, if I go there, then I'm subject to be treated like that, like Jordan Poole, or
correct,
if something was to happen to me, unbecoming, that I could be in the right, or even if I could talk trash, but I ain't put my hands on nobody. But somebody physically assaults me, ain't nobody got my back in this organization.
Correct. And there's gonna be no consequences for him doing it either.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
no
and you trade the guy who got punched.
And he's still gonna get his commercial. He's still gonna get his money.
Right. I'm
going to get traded off to a, no disrespect, Washington and that. I'm going to get traded to a low rank. How do I want to say it? I won't say a no-name team, but
a bottom
a
feeder.
low-budget team.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna pay the price for it. My career is basically in jeopardy when somebody physically assaulted me.
Right.
You know, just because or whatever I said came out my mouth, but I never criminalized, did something unlawfully against nobody. You know, but the Golden State Warriors back up that behavior, and the NBA back up Golden State Warriors on that behavior.
Correct.
So when younger players are thinking about okay, we want that player. Let's see if we can get that player. Hey, this is an up and coming player, right? He looked pretty good. What's in that player mind? Do I really want to go there to get treated like that?
Right. Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, I was, I just want to touch bases on you with that, bro.
Nah, you speaking facts, man. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, my apologies. It look like my Wi-Fi is struggling right now, man. So if my picture or my sound, let me know if my picture or my sound gets real bad or whatnot, because right now my Wi-Fi, I don't know what's going on with it. It's struggling. But Color Noise, thanks for the $19 super chat. Keep up the good work, Merle. Keep grinding. Miss Morris. Thank you, Miss Morris. I'm not sure. I don't know if I know who Miss Morris is, but I appreciate the super chat. And Mikey Brash, yeah, you're right. Wiseman was drafted second. So Ant-Man was one. Wiseman was second. And Melo was third. I think Wiseman was his better choice for that team. I mean, because I know Melo's 6'7", and he was going straight to the bench. So you would have drafted a number 3 player, the number 3 pick out of the draft, and he was going straight to the bench. There's no way he's going to start over Steph or Clay. Now, once Clay got hurt, I think he was injured that year. Yeah, because he was injured that year. So there's a possibility he would have got a lot of minutes, but I don't think he would have started at the 2 guard. I really don't. So I mean that would have been interesting. I mean, he's a big point guard, but he's a true point guard though. He really runs points. So it would have been interesting to see how they fit that in. But I think Wiseman was the better choice. 7'1", that's what they needed. They needed a center that was going to be athletic at the rim, shot block, be able to run like a deer and all that stuff. He was perfect for them. He just wouldn't accept the role of being Kevon Looney and just being a rebounder and a defender. He wouldn't, I don't think, he wanted to outgrow that role and he wanted more, which was fine when Draymond and Clay was hurt. Well, Clay was hurt first, so they didn't have Clay. They started off bad. I want to say, was that the year that Steph got injured? Nah, he got injured the year before. So Steph was there. I think Dre was there, but they wasn't playing good basketball. But Wiseman was, as a rookie, played phenomenal. He had a lot of, when they needed him, he played well. But once the whole team got healthy again, they had Wiggins, Clay's back, Steph's back, Draymond's back. They wanted Jonathan Wiseman. They wanted to put the toothpaste back in the tube, and they wanted him to take a step back, which is what caused the problem with Boston when Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving got hurt. And then you got a rookie, Jason Tatum, and a second-year player in Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Terry Rozier. They all kind of emerged in the absence of Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving. And they was like, shoot, I can play in this league. They get to the conference finals. I can play in this league. Well, guess what happens when Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving comes back? Well, Marcus Smart and Terry Rozier play the same position as Kyrie Irving. Your minutes are gone. Your shot opportunities are gone because you're not getting shots over Kyrie. He was the franchise at the time. And as Gordon Hayward, he should have been a person that went to the bench, but he's the guy who got the second biggest contract on the team after Kyrie Irving. He's the guy who played for the head coach in college, and Brad Stevens. He played for them at Butler. So they got a relationship, and he's the only all-star on the team other than Kyrie Irving. You got to kind of like give him his minutes. He earned it. He's a vet. He's got a max contract. He plays for his college coach, and he's an all-star who's expected, and a veteran who's expected to play. How do you tell him to go to the bench and tell the rookies, Tatum and Jaylen Brown, these young guys, that they can get his minutes and play in the same position? So they had to take Tatum and Brown and say, all right, take a step back. Here comes Hayward back. And that's what Wiseman had the issue with. And that's why Boston had an issue that season, because that friction between Hayward, Brown, and Tatum and their minutes and their opportunities and stuff like that kind of messed the locker room up. And they blamed all that on Kyrie Irving, because Kyrie Irving tried to be a leader in the locker room and tell the young guys exactly what I just said. This is a freaking vet. And he's an all-star. He earned it. Right. But what the truth is he was coming back off a major leg surgery, multiple leg surgeries, a bad injury, and he just wasn't ready to come back and take minutes like that. So he probably should have went to the bench, but so I get it. But that's what Wiseman was on. He was, he was like, look, man, I showed you I could play as a rookie, and now you want me to go back and just be a rebound, and that's it. I can't take shots. You know what I mean? So it's a double-edged sword, I guess, man. And you got to be able to navigate that, man. So, but yeah, I move on. We'll go to Shaquille O'Neal, and Shaq was on his podcast, the Big Shaq podcast, and I want to say he was talking to Mario Chalmers, and he mentioned something about super teams, and he said something that I thought was real interesting. Like, man, imagine that. And I've thought about this before, but I thought about it from the Michael Jordan perspective. If Michael Jordan had a team up or a super team thought process or mentality, or if Michael Jordan, when he left the Bulls at age 34, 35, decided I still got more years in me and I want to compete. Wherever Phil's going, I'm going. And Phil went to LA to coach. If Mike would have joined LA, he would have been playing with Shaq and Kobe. And he would have chased rings that way. That's what we're seeing from guys like LeBron and Kevin Durant now. Like they are LeBron is saying, I want to keep playing. And I'm not ready to stop playing. Right. But I can't carry a team by myself. So guess what? I just joined some young stud or something like that. Right. So that's what they're doing. And it's prolonging their career, and it's making it seem like they're doing something that's hard to do. Right. Like, hey, I get to go to a squad and I get to handpick a new young co-star to play with. And he makes me look like I'm still young and vibrant, but that's not really what it is, right? And I think anybody at 35 could have done what LeBron is doing and said, let me just start handpicking superstars to play with, and let me just start forcing all these trades. But anyway, let me get to what Shaq said.
I think people were upset because, especially guys that we play this game. If we knew that was acceptable, probably a lot of us would have switched up.
Done it.
If I knew that was acceptable, I would have just went to Chicago. If I knew that was acceptable, I would have went and played with the Spurs. If I knew that was okay, you know what I'm saying? I would have went and played with a team that was almost there, like Utah. I would have went and played in Utah. Like if I knew that was acceptable. We always thought like, nope, you the man, you the guy, you got to get it done. You got to stay, you got to make trades, you got to do this, you can't. And I think he did it before it was acceptable. It's acceptable now. People just, I want to go here. I want to do this. I want to, hey, you play on the team. Let's get on this team and create a big three. But again, if I knew that was acceptable, I just would went and played with Mike. I'd have played with Mike. Oh, my God.
But Shaq, I think that.
No. Yeah, but that was from working and thinking. Like, I didn't know them. I saw him and I went upstairs and be like, hey, bring me Penny and bring me Hart. It ain't like I knew him. Be like, hey, man, I know you played with Bill.
The game is the one superstar is done.
Yeah.
Everybody too good now.
Everybody too good.
You got to have somebody with you.
You can't do it by yourself.
You can't do it. Everybody's too good now. Honestly, the game has evolved so much. You got guys like Wembyana, he's 7'4", doing things you've never imagined. Kevin Durant, things that you've never imagined. The things that Luka does, Jokic, how much the game has evolved from position to position. Ain't no one superstar winners no more.
Go ahead, Adam.
A lot of you guys.
Yeah, so that's interesting, right? So first of all, I disagree with what Lou Williams said. He said the one superstar per team thing is done. Well, we just seen Denver win with one superstar, right? So the formula, how it was, all right, I always use Michael Jordan and the Bulls as a standard, because I mean, Michael Jordan is definitely a standard, and how they did it is definitely be looked at as a standard, right? So what they had was a superstar in Michael Jordan. Now, he was the best player in the league, so that's a heck of a superstar to have, right? That's the big joker in the spades. So you got the big joker, you got one superstar, and then you got a co-star that's a legit number two. I mean, this is a legit co-star that is an all-star. Some would say a superstar, right? So you got, at the very best, you have two superstars surrounded around role players, right? Now, these role players are vets. They're high basketball IQ. Some of them are specialists as far as shooters. Some of them are specialists as far as rebounders. Some of them is there just to play defense. It's a wonderful mix of what you're supposed to, build a team with. And it's easier to do it that way because you're paying the superstar and you probably paying the co-star and the head coach and everybody else's role players. You ain't got to break the bank for them, right? So have we seen that recently? Yes, we've seen it with Denver. A legit superstar in Jokic. Some of them would say he's the best in the league, just like Jordan was. And a legit number two co-star who probably got a little bit of number one in his game. We haven't seen him as a number one. He hasn't made an all-star yet, but he's an all-star caliber player, right? And Jamal Murray, surrounded around role players. And they won it because they play good defense. They play a highly sophisticated offense, just like the triangle was, and they won. Tim Duncan with the Spurs, superstar. His co-star, whether you want to say it was Ginobili or Parker, what they're not on the level of Wade or Pippen or nothing like that, but they're legit number two co-star. So he had a co-star and role players, right? When he won it with David Robinson was what was his co-star with role players, Avery Johnson, Sean Elliott, those guys, right? Won it again, his last ring, emerging Kawhi Leonard, but Tony Parker was still his co-star. So you don't need three superstars. That's overkill, because what Tim Duncan is exactly what LeBron is. What Tim Duncan is exactly what Wade is, and what Tim Duncan is exactly what Bosh is. They all were superstars who could carry a team as a number one player, and who did carry teams as number one players. So to say that you have to have that to win now is not true. You don't have to have three Tim Duncans. You don't have to have three Michael Jordans. And I wouldn't say Bosh is on that level of a Jordan level, but Bosh is definitely on that level of a Pippen. So LeBron and Bosh would have been just fine. But to go add Wade, that's overkill. Right. So I mean, that's overkill. Like, that's Wade. Like, Wade is a number one, hands down. And we're gonna talk about that later on the last segment. But Wade is a number one, hands down. Right. So at the worst, Bosh is a number two, like a Pippen. So no, you don't need that. You don't need two number ones or three number ones. You just don't, right? So, but back to what Shaq said. It's acceptable now. Like, people look at it and it was like, and the only reason why it's acceptable is because you don't want to destroy LeBron for doing it. You want to make it okay because this is somebody, we're propping up in the NBA, and you can't shoot him down, right? That's how people are looking at it. So, all right, well, since LeBron did it, I guess it's okay. Let's talk around it to make it a okay thing. Now it's acceptable. It's okay. Form a super team. And Kevin Durant he can't escape this as well. The same scrutiny you give LeBron, you got to give KD as well. The same scrutiny you give LeBron, you got to give Steph as well. because he let KD come join him. Now, was it at the level of a Wade, Bosh, and LeBron? I don't think so, because I don't think Clay is on their level. I don't think Clay is a Bosh level, Wade level, or LeBron level player. But Steph and KD definitely is. So you got two of those guys, which is fine. I'm fine with two of them, right? But to have three of them is definitely overkill, right? But Shaq said it's okay now. And if I knew it was okay, if I knew that you were going to count my rings the same way you counted Jordan's rings, and you're going to forget about the journey to those rings. Like if I knew that the 6 rings that Jordan got and the way he got them, we're still going to look at the 4 rings that LeBron got and say, they got it the same way. We just go ahead and ignore the fact that he team hop, handpicked teammates, handpicked superstars, had overkill on his roster, fired whoever he needed to fire, traded who. It's almost like if you get dealt a hand in Uno, right? And we want to know who the best Uno player is, and we've seen someone with a horrible hand still win because they know how to navigate the board, and we seen him with a great hand still win. He really knows how to play Uno. But every time this other player gets a bad hand, he's able to say, I'm throwing my hand in, let's reshuffle the deck and let me get a new hand. That's what he does every time he shows up to a team and say, all right, that's the squad. Let's reshuffle the deck. I want him. I want that superstar. Trade him, fire that coach, do all that. Okay, now I got a good hand. Now let's go win. Right? You skipping everything, because how we see how good you are is how you navigate things when you have adversity. Like Michael Jordan. Okay, Scottie Pippen elected to have surgery. That last year they was in Chicago, missed half the season. Who's gonna help me? They started out losing games. They wasn't playing good basketball, right? So what they say in The Last Dance, he said he went to Rob and said, "Hey man, I need you. Pippen's gone. You can't be a partier just like you've been doing. I need you to lock in at least until Pippen get back. When Pippen comes back, you can let your hair down. But I need you to lock in." So Rodman locked in, and Jordan was like, all right, let's figure out how to win without Pippen. He didn't go to the organization and say, hey, look, man, trade Pip and get me somebody that can play right now. That's what LeBron did when Wade showed up in Cleveland with him. It wasn't working. And before the trade deadline, he was like, look, all of them need to go. Because what I'm not going to have is a wasted year. I need to catch Mike. I need to get 6 rings. I have to get 6 rings. So anybody that's not helping me get those 6, they got to go. Coach, player, my best friend, it don't matter who it is. I'm trading you. And if I can't get the players I want in Miami like I want them to, then I'm leaving and going back to Cleveland. All this maneuvering, that's called reshuffling the deck. I get a bad hand. I don't like it. I get to throw it in and say, I don't have enough spades. Give me more spades. But a great spades player will be like, man, I got 1 spade. I'm playing this hand, and I'm going to figure out how to make board, me and my partner, or we're going to figure out how to get more than that. Not LeBron. I don't like the hand I got. Throwing it in, reshuffle the deck. Give me another hand. You can't reshuffle the deck and ask for a different hand every time you get a bad hand. So that's my whole point. And like I said, Shaquille O'Neal is saying, well, we're making it okay. We're calling it the same way. We're saying that the rings that you get by forming super teams is equal to the rings you get by not forming super teams. Right? You take a shortcut and I take the long way, and they're counting it just the same. We both trying to get to a destination, and we got to run 5 miles to get there. And I run and you ride a bike, and we both get there and we both go celebrate that we got there, but you ran, right? It's just a different race that LeBron ran, right? The people that came before him ran a race on this track, and it was a 100-meter dash. He was on a totally separate track and was like, I can't beat you at the 100, but guess what? I'm just going to keep running this marathon. And then at the end of my marathon, I'm going to say I did it better than you. Well, no one was running the marathon. We was all running the 100. Like the players like Kobe and Mike, they all were running to get rings. Their goal as a basketball player was to make my game is complete as possible. Number one, I want to be the best player. Number one, and number two, I want to win the most rings. That was their goal. Nowhere on that list was it accumulate stats, because if we all started out at the beginning of the career and everybody was like, hey, the name of the game is to get the most stats. The player with the most stats, is the best player. Like if that was running a race to be the best player ever and to get the most stats, they would have ran the race different. You get what I'm saying? That makes sense. Like LeBron was racing or running a race that nobody else was running. Like nobody else was running the stats race. Everybody was running the rings race and the best player race. And I think that Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant achieved that. They both turned themselves into the best players we ever seen. We haven't seen players as good as and as complete as MJ on both ends of the floor. And then they went out and got 5 and 6 rings respectively, right? They went out and got those rings. That was their goal. But a guy comes after them and say, hey, I got more stats than y'all. So, and they're looking like, dude, we wasn't running the stats race. We was running the rings race and the best player race. So the stats race is just not a thing, man. The last thing I say before my phone line was up. Kobe Bryant came into the league and he measured himself. Well, he first looked at the standard. He said, man, who's the best player that I've ever seen? Who made the game complete? Who played the game on both ends of the floor? Who did it the best? And he looked, and that was Michael Jordan. So he measured himself and said, this is where I'm at. And that's where Michael Jordan is. And there was a gap between them. So what did he fill that gap with? He filled it with, I'm going to talk to Michael Jordan and get everything that he knows. I'm going to talk to his coaches. I'm going to talk to other players like Gary Payton to get what he knows on defense. I'm going to talk to Brian Shaw. I'm going to talk to all these guys, right? This is what I'm going to do. And that's what he filled the gap with to catch up with Mike. That gap between me and Mike as a player, I'm going to fill it with hard work and know-how so I can close that gap and get close as Mike as I can, because he's the standard. He's the best player I ever seen, right? Well, LeBron did it different. He did the same thing. He showed up. He seen where he was at, and he seen where Mike was at, and there was a gap. And it's still filling that gap because no one taught LeBron nothing, right? You know, you let him tell it. You let players that played with him, players like Isaiah Thomas and stuff like that, they tell you LeBron didn't learn anything. He didn't have the best coach in the world like Phil Jackson. LeBron is self-taught, so no one taught him anything. So when he seen the gap between him and Mike, he didn't go to no coaches or no other players and say, let me pick your brain. He didn't go to Jordan and pick his brain. Maybe he did, I don't know. But he won't say he did. He didn't do these things and try to fill the gap with getting better to see how good he could get to Mike. What he did with that gap is say, I'm going to fill that gap with players and teammates that can do the things that I can't do. Like Mike can shoot the mid-range. I can't shoot the mid-range, so I get a player who can. Come on down, D-Wade. Come on down, Kyrie Irving. Right? Come on down, Bosh. Come on down, AD. Come on down, Ray. Let me get a player that can do the things that I can't do to fill the gap between where I'm at and where Mike is at. Let me fill the gap with multiple superstars, because that's what he says he's good at. I'm good at passing the ball around and stuff like that. Well, hey, look, you still got a gap between you and Mike. So what you gonna do? Well, hey, I can just fill that gap with players. Wade, Bosh, Love, AD, Kyrie. I fill that gap. That's a totally different thing than what Kobe Bryant did. Totally different thing. But while we on the topic of Kobe Bryant, Steve Stouts, who's a hip hop mogul or hip hop figurehead, whatever you want to call him. This interview is kind of old. I think it's maybe a month or two old. And I listened to it a while back and I wanted to react to it and I just couldn't get around to it. But today I was like, you know what? Let me talk about something he said. Listen to how he described a young Kobe Bryant, because I want to say he was involved in trying to get Kobe signed. Somehow he got close to Kobe, and he spent some time with Kobe when he was young, like maybe his rookie season, maybe a little bit after his rookie season. But listen to how he talked about Kobe and what he witnessed.
And Kobe was we would, in the morning, get up. I got him to go to this local gym. He would shoot 1,000 shots. Then he had these tapes. It was Michael Jordan going left, Michael Jordan going right. So it was just, the tapes were split of Jordan moving left, Jordan moving right, Jordan guarding people going left, Jordan guarding people going right. And he'd watch it for hours. And then we would go to the studio and record. That was his routine every single day. I learned a lot of discipline, from a young man. I thought I was pretty disciplined and doing my thing. And then I seen another level of it with him. Kobe was going to guard Allen Iverson that year. And he was very much respectful of Iverson's speed and all that. And he said, he wanted to get young guards from New York that could, do their thing. Crossover and all that. We got him. Went to this indoor gym. He lined 10 of them up. They came in from the 3-point line. He stood at the foul line. And they would come in like an assembly line, and he would guard them, try to strip them, take them to the hole, and then run back to the line before the next guy came. He ran that. He never got on offense. He ran that like an assembly line. Wow. He was just guarding. He was guarding guys, 6 foot, fast as shit. They'd get past him, steal from him, block it, rub their shit against the backboard, come back, guard. And
so listen to what he said toward the end. First, he said that he would get up in the morning, and this is how detailed he was. And I'm pretty sure he's not the only player this detailed, but we're talking about Kobe. So this is how detailed he is. Like I said earlier, he watched Michael Jordan and seen that Michael Jordan was the best there was to study. He was the best player that he ever seen. He was technically sound. It's almost like a boxer that want to study Floyd Mayweather. You study Floyd Mayweather, you're gonna learn the real sweet science. You're gonna learn defense. You're gonna learn striking. You're gonna learn so much footwork, everything. I think Mayweather has got it down to a science, right? And that's what Kobe was looking at. I'm looking at a guy that's so technically sound. He's got to be the standard. He's got to be who I study. He said he was waking up in the morning and watching Michael Jordan. I don't know who he got in the film room to make these videos for him, but he was watching Michael Jordan on only going left. And then he'll put another video in and watch Michael Jordan only going right. Then he'll watch Michael Jordan guarding people going left. Watch Michael Jordan guarding people going right. Then he'll go to the gym and work out. He said he wanted to study Allen Iverson, and he knew he was going to have to guard him. He said that this man went and got some of the fastest point guards that the city had to offer, brought them in the gym, lined them up like an assembly line, and was on one end of the court sprinting down and stopping and playing defense on them and stopping them from getting to the hole, and just continues to do that. That's working on your cardio. That's me being tired and try to guard someone as quick as Allen Iverson. And he's doing this back to back to back to back. And he said while he's doing it, he's ripping the guys. He's blocking their shots. He's getting the best of them. It kind of reminds me of when they told me Kyrie Irving would play 1-on-3 after practice. He said that was one of his drills that he would do. He'll play 1-on-3. And sometimes most of the time he will beat the 3 people that was playing him. He's playing 1-on-3. That's unreal, right? That's Kobe Bryant. I want to learn how to guard Allen Iverson. And that's what I was saying earlier about the gap that was between him and Jordan. He wanted to fill that gap with hard work so he can close the gap. I want to close that gap. And I know it got to take a lot of film study and a lot of hard work for me to close that gap. He was concentrating on being as great a player as possible. And the way he did that was by, if I can equal Michael Jordan, then that means I would be the greatest. If I can equal Mike and get everything that Mike has in his repertoire on both ends of the floor, then I would be the best player that this league ever seen, just like Mike would be, and possibly better. So that was his thing. Then the second thing was, now when I get on the court with this arsenal, I want to win more than anything, and I'm gonna make it happen. And that's what he did for 5 rings. Totally different than what LeBron did when he seen his gap. He didn't close the gap as a player between him and Michael Jordan and him and Kobe. He didn't close that gap. He just got other players that can do what Kobe could do. He went and got Wade. He went and got Kyrie. And not only did he get Wade and Kyrie, he went and got an extra piece in Kevin Love and Chris Bosh. You know, so he's filling his gaps with players, not hard work to make his game as equal as theirs. So when you talk about this GOAT thing, you got to talk about who the best player is first. Then you talk about the winning. That's the only 2 things that matter when you're talking about who's the better player, who's the greatest player, not stats, because no one was playing the stat game. Nowhere in that soundbite did it say that Kobe Bryant was studying Michael Jordan's stat book. He studied Michael Jordan's film. He did not study Michael Jordan's stat book. LeBron James obviously is studying the stat book. He knows how much he needs to score for the rest of his. He knew how much he needed to score and how long he needed to play to pass Kareem. That was a goal of his. Nobody else had that goal. Nobody else had a goal of, let me go get Kareem. Let me go past Kareem. Nobody had that goal. Here's another conversation of Brian Shaw describing Kobe Bryant.
Did Phil ever hold any, like, well, Michael would do this? Like, did he ever hold that over Kobe?
He never did that, and he never answered the question who he thought was better.
Yeah.
Publicly.
Yeah.
He did say later on that he gave Michael the edge over Kobe only because Michael had bigger hands. Yeah. And he could palm the ball off the dribble and do stuff that Kobe couldn't do. But even when he said that, then after that came out, Kobe, you saw every time in the locker room, Kobe had vice grips, and he was strengthening his hands so that he could try to get to a point where Kobe is. So he could get to Kobe. That's all I gotta do. Yeah, it was like, I'm gonna strengthen my hands, and then all you saw him after Phil said that was he trying to get to the point where he could palm the ball.
So this is him hearing Phil Jackson say that the difference between him and Mike was the hands. And Mike had those big hands and can grip the ball. So now Brian Shaw said all of a sudden Kobe Bryant is trying to strengthen his fingers with the grips because he wanted to be able to grip the ball like Mike. He was obsessed with studying everything that Mike did as a player so he could adopt it or make it better. So this comment from Soulmatic, Kobe was absolutely chasing Mike. Ron Artest spoke recently about that 6th championship. Second 3-peat meant so much to Kobe. Yes, it meant so much to him, but that's what I'm talking about. Making himself as a complete player and winning was what Mike and Kobe cared about. He wasn't chasing Mike's stats. You're talking about rings and winning. Of course, he was trying to get rings because that's the only reason why you play the game. You play the game for winning and rings. So yeah, I said that 5-10 minutes ago. The difference between Mike and Kobe and LeBron is that Mike and Kobe was only trying to make themselves the best player as possible and get as many rings as possible. They both said that out their own mouth. Only thing that matters is winning. The only thing that matters is rings. Michael Jordan said out his mouth, he said, if I wanted to chase Kareem's record, I wouldn't have retired the first time or the second time. I would have continued to play knowing that it's a shot at me getting that record. Mike would have got that record very easily if he wanted to get it. He said it wasn't about the record. It's not about stats for him. He's on record saying that. Kobe Bryant's on record saying that. So yes, you're not saying nothing that's earth shattering. Yes, Kobe wanted to get 6 rings, and he wanted to be better than Michael Jordan. He did that by making himself a complete player and trying to win as much as possible. Like I said, he didn't study Michael Jordan's stat book and say, "Oh man, that's what he is with his stats. Let me get that." No, that's not what he said. That's not what he said. I seen Magic win 5. I seen Magic win 6. Kobe talking about, dude, we're saying the same thing. Kobe wanted to win. Kobe wanted to be a complete player. Dude, you know what? You must be young. I don't understand how that's not making sense to you. Yes, he wanted to win. Why are you saying that like that's gonna change anything that's been said? Today's stats are first skill, or first skill set is second, and winning is last. Yeah, stats are first for sure. Stats are first for a lot of people, especially the media, especially the fans. But there's still some players out there like Kawhi Leonard. There's really about winning. I think Tim Duncan was really about winning. I think Steph to a certain degree is really about winning. I think KD is really about winning. The only ones that's about that stat stuff is those guys who won't give up the point guard duty. You're the best player. You're going to get all the shots. You're going to get 30 shots a game. However, you still want to be the point guard. Why? Because not only you go get 30 points, you're going to get the 10 assists as well. Oh, that's great. 30 and 10, grab a couple of rebounds. I'm flirting with a triple-double. So Westbrook, Harden, Luka, LeBron, all those guys who won't give up the point guard duty, they're taking the point guard duty because it's good for their stats. They're stat racks instead of being gym racks. All right, so one last thing. Nick Saban even talked about Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant. He said, I knew I could never be perfect, but I was always cutting the gap between where I was and perfect. And I knew I could never get there, but it didn't matter. I always wanted to be the best player. One of the players asked him, how did you score 60 points in the last game that you played? And he said, I worked 8 hours a day for 365 days a year so I could get through that season when I was 40 years old or however old he was. He said, they don't put that part on ESPN.
That's another example of someone saying, look, man, I talked to Kobe. He was always trying to make himself the best player, a complete player, a perfect player. He was always trying to do that. That's the goal. Every weakness I have, I'm going to make it a strength. I'm going to work on it, right? When you have a weakness, you don't go find a player that can fill that weakness for you. That's not what being a professional is all about, right? You're supposed to try to, you're playing 15, 20 years. You shouldn't have the same weakness you had 10 years ago. Right. So that's what it's all about, man. And that's my thought process on it, man. I'm gonna open the phone lines up to see what y'all think. Let me see. Phone lines are open. At the time, Lenny Cook was playing for Long Island Panthers and Telfair was running with Juice All-Stars and Most Precious Blood Gym. I don't even know what you're trying to say. DC Slam, what's up?
Hey, man, y'all tripping tonight, man.
Oh, okay?
Yeah. All right, look. Let me go. I'm going to go on the little rant. Just let me land this plane real quick.
All right. First, this call going to be no longer than 2 minutes, number one. Number two, it's got to be about the topic. The topic is
it's all good. I got both of your topics. All right.
Okay,
I was trying to get with you on that Shaq thing.
Go ahead,
man.
You got time. Go ahead.
Time's not the same, fellas. Look, man, this basketball talk's supposed to be fun, right? I am truly getting tired of people just complaining about today's league, dog. It's kind of like this show started off great. Then I watched the comments, the insults, the personal stuff. Look, if you don't like LeBron, fine, cool, no problem. But if you can't just roll with today's standards, everything in life is different, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm here for this show, dog, for good sports talk. I ain't here to argue with people all the time. This Jordan, Kobe, LeBron thing, dog, this is what's killing the league today. You know what I'm saying? And, it's just like you can't have your own opinion. You're not allowed to say who you like. Jordan ain't perfect. Jordan, and you could tell some people don't even watch basketball. Kobe Bryant is not all Michael Jordan. I wish people would stop saying that. If you watch any of his interviews or people talk about him, they'll tell you that. So I'm trying, where are we going with this? Where are we going with sports today and channels? Is this what we doing? We just arguing and debating Kobe, Jordan, and Mike like they the greatest thing since sliced bread. Basketball was here before them three dudes came here, man. I'm here for the sports. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna check out. I'm peace out, man. Great show.
All right, appreciate the call. I'm not here arguing with anybody. I'm here responding to things that former players and people around the league have said, right? So Shaquille O'Neal said something about the super teams. I reacted to it. We got some people like Brian Shaw and Steve Stout saying things about Kobe Bryant, and I'm reacting to it. That's just what it is. Like if the kitchen is too hot and you feel like, oh man, every time I hear this, I gotta hear a breakdown on Kobe, Mike, or LeBron, then the kitchen's too hot for you. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know what to tell you. Like, you don't want. I mean, if the people in the comment section, DC Slim is saying things that you can't deal with, that's fine. But guess what? I read all these comments and I get to hear people say things about LeBron, Kobe. I get to hear people say things about me personally. I get to hear things about Luka. I got an opinion about Luka and Draymond, and you're not going to agree with everything that someone has an opinion about. You're not going to agree with it. But to say that sports talk is not going in the right direction because we're complaining about the product that's on the floor is not a good thing to say, because we're the consumers. Right. And if you go to a restaurant, consume food, and the product is trash, you got the right to say the product is trash. Right. Well, we not only invest money, because there's a lot of people who buy tickets and a lot of people who pay for the sports channel, and a lot of people who buy all types of jerseys. And then if you're not buying things, you invest in your time in watching the product. If it's trash, I don't want to waste my time watching the trash product. So yeah, I'm not going to complain about it, but I'm going to call out the BS. T.A., what's up?
What's up, bro? What's up? How you feeling, man?
I'm good.
Chilling, man. Yeah. DC, man, he needs to stop tripping, man, because you know what? If you can't sit out here and call a spade, then what is we doing here? You know what I'm saying? And he old enough to know better. You come from a time where sports wasn't about narrative. It was actually about the own things that you saw. The strategy, we knew who was better than who. People didn't duck fade. Case in point, I was going to take my son's birthday was yesterday. I was going to take him, take two of my boys and take them to the Bucks game tonight to go see the Lakers and the Bucks. So guess what? LeBron's sitting out again. Mr. Low Management. You know what I'm saying? I can't even spend money with these in this day and age because somebody's going to sit out. Somebody's quote unquote hurt or whatever. They don't play back to backs. Like, come on, man. How can you come from an era when that wasn't happening to see it happening on a daily, weekly basis and not call it out, or you're not, you ain't appreciating the game. They don't appreciate the game because if they did, we wouldn't have these kind of discussions in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
that's why Kobe will always be revered, because he was one of the last of a dying breed, and it ain't just in basketball. You can say that in football as well. We are in the most watered down era in terms of we got all these muscle bound athletic guys, but they don't have the heart and the intangibles that make a all time player. Aaron Donald, he's an exception. You can go and find exceptions to everything. But for every Aaron Donald, then we got a Trent Brown that's been stealing money. He beat his house. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Listen, man, I played sports. I watch sports. I analyze positions. I know what this is about. And I know when you had dudes that was overachievers when I was coming up, but now we got like a Randall from the Vikings. You know what I'm saying? He was an overachiever, undrafted. James Harrison, undrafted.
Yeah.
Ben Wallace, undrafted. We had overachievers. Now we got a case of people that feel entitled because they're getting paid. They don't want to risk their brand. They don't want to risk getting injured. It's a joke. So if you can't call that out, then you might as well go sit and watch ESPN for 24 hours and let them slurp and twerk all these dudes.
And you know what? It's crazy because I don't even have a problem with people sitting out games. Now, I really don't. I don't have a problem with it. Now, I will say this. When you start comparing them to players who didn't sit out games in other eras, then I would bring it up and say, hey, you know, this is a harder, more respectable way to go about playing 82 games versus load managing. So I would have more respect for the player who got close to playing 82 games versus the guy who played 60, right? But I'm not gonna say it's a bad thing and it's bad for the sport, because it changed with the times, and it is what we are right now. These dudes are making 40, 50 mil, some of them on the low end making 20 mil a year, right? They're making so much money a year. They don't have the mentality to go out there and put their body at risk, but for entertainment, for a game. Like, I wouldn't go out there and tap dance for nobody on no bum ankle. You get what I'm saying? I wouldn't go. I seen singers cancel their shows for having strep throat or losing their voice and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you can't play, you can't play. Now, the reason why those dudes played back in the day through all those injuries, because they felt like they had to. They was building the sport up. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, that was a mind frame, though. That was a reference point and it started. It wasn't just the players. It was the coaches that held them to a standard. It was the front office of the teams that held them to a standard. It was the league offices that held these players to a standard. Where now we have players leagues. We have players. Teams.
I don't know if the league office was the reason why Michael Jordan played 82. If Michael Jordan wanted the loads managed, he would have. He wanted to play 82 because he was geared toward letting everybody know that you can't beat me, and he wanted to prove that every single night. It's just a different mentality.
That was a mentality, but I'm saying you also had an older start that played 82 games, 7, 8, 9 years. You had a AC Green that played all the games he could possibly play. Yeah. I'm just saying it was a different mentality, and it was something that was promoted on teams. And players that dogged it, they got hounded the rest of their careers. I could tell you, like William Bedford. I could tell you players that was known dogs for Noy Benjamin. They was known dogs because they didn't play through certain injuries. It was always taught to me coming up, man. If you can run, you can play. You might not be at your best with it, as long as if you got a bad wheel, you got a bad wheel. That's one thing. But man, you got a hand injury, man. Come on, man. Go out here and give your team what you can.
Look, I agree. I agree with you, but let me know if you understand where I'm coming from with it. And I agree with you 100%.
So fully.
But hold on, let me just say this. I respect the mentality of playing the games and playing through something more than I respect not doing it. However, when I look, the only way that's significant to me is when I compare those two players. But now I'm looking at it, I don't want the players to feel like they're gladiators either. Right. I don't want them to feel like they're a piece of meat for the team owner and the organization and the NBA. And hey, man, you better play because we paying you. Like I don't want it to be connected to like a prize fighter or some slave or something like that. I don't want it. I don't want them to be $40 million slaves. So I like the fact that they have some say so. I like the fact that they got a little bit more control. I like that. Because when they didn't have control, they were 40 million. They still are $40 million slaves, but it was more so even then. So I can't be mad at it now. But only thing that is significant about it is when I compare them with the players who did go through that, then it's showing me that those players were stronger and more mentally tough players. Period. So that's my thought with it.
But then you look at it on the flip side, when your jobs, whether you sick, whether you whatever, you're gonna risk losing your job if you ain't there in a timely fashion. And it ain't for no $40, $50 million. So me, the man in me is seeing it like, well, okay, man, you couldn't give your team nothing tonight? You couldn't do nothing?
Yeah, but hey, look, I'm worth $200 million. What does the mentality come from for me to go out there and risk something that's going to affect me when I'm 60? Like, I'm taking years off my life. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
you can't. You can't.
Paying you for it too.
No. I want you to think about NBA. NBA is not as tough as NFL, but think about NFL. Think about these dudes just taking themselves out because of CTE. Think about these dudes. You know, just think about that for a minute. Think about these dudes that go broke. Listen to a basketball player that's they got some age on them. Talk about how hard it is for them to get out of the bed in the morning after they. You get what I'm saying? Like. No, I'm not cool. I know they get paid a lot, but I'm not cool with them giving their body up to make billionaires more billions, right? And let the fans force them to go play through some stuff that they probably shouldn't be playing through. No, I'm not cool with that. I'm not cool with that. So like I said, well, I will give the nod to the players who went through that and say that, hey, man, you get the crown for that. You're the tougher player. You're the more mentally tough player. And when I compare you with the this era now, I'm going to give the nod to these players who went through that. But I'm also not going to try to force these guys to play. Now, everything else I'm talking about is totally different. Now, when you on the floor and you're playing soft and you're not fighting over screens and you're not, you know, all these things, that's more basketball oriented. And I can talk about that, and I can talk about this era being easier and softer and weaker, but I'm not going to talk about them taking time off when they hurt. I'm not. But
no. Yeah, you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that because you're not gonna be. You can't. I can't judge your pain. You know what I'm saying? I can't say you should do this because that's not my body. I don't know the level of, you know, the discomfort you're going through. But at the same time, people do pay. They do spend money to see these players play. I
don't care. I don't care what people spend. I'm sorry. No, seriously, I don't. If you spend your money to come see the Lakers play and LeBron's not there, then you still get to see the Lakers. Now, if you spend your money to go see LeBron play, then you gamble. Because you know what it is with LeBron. He's 39.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But what I'm saying is I didn't have these problems back in the 80s and 90s when I was going to games, or the 2000s when I was going to games. That was never a thing. It wasn't like, oh man,
when you bought that ticket, did it say Bulls versus Lakers, or did it say Jordan versus Magic?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this: the ticket also didn't say low management possible, and they also wasn't making $40 million a year back then.
But I don't think that's part of the equation. My question is, did the ticket say Bulls versus Lakers or Magic versus Jordan? If it said Bulls versus Lakers and the Bulls showed up and the Lakers showed up, then you got your money's worth. Now, if the whole Bulls team don't get off the bus, then you got a legitimate great.
When I bought that ticket back in 90 some odd, I didn't buy that ticket to see Sadell 3. I bought that ticket to see Magic. I didn't buy that ticket to see, you know what I'm saying? So I get you, but at the same time, it's like, man, come on, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's better to just sit at home to games if that's what you're gonna do.
Well, that's probably what you should do then. If you only bought the ticket for one player, then that's we call it a single point of failure. Like that's a single point of failure. That's like the president having the code to the button, and don't nobody in the world got it except him. What happens if the president get hurt or injured or God forbid something worse? You can't have a single point of failure in anything. So if the only reason why you was going to go watch that game was one guy, then that's already a bad thing. But I appreciate the call, man. I'm opening the phone lines up for somebody else.
All right, bro. Take it easy.
All right, thanks, C-Ray. All right, I'll take one more, maybe two more quick phone calls. Greg, what you got?
Hey, man, what's going on, man?
What's up?
Hey, I kind of agree with the last caller when you started talking about this load management. But to your point, I do see where you're coming from, where there needs to be some kind of balance when it comes down to, injuries versus being hurt. Because we Chicago fans over here, and I can only wish that Tom Thibodeau had load managed Derrick Rose when he was limping and kipping around instead of playing them 40, 42 minutes a night.
Right.
And even before that, we all saw what happened with Grant Hill when he was on that bum ankle.
Yep.
And he wanted to tough it out. And that ruined 2 Hall of Fame careers. So, it's a fine line. But my only issue is, like, why they got to do it like doing these marquee games, man? It's like, come on, man. They play Memphis tomorrow, man. Sit down on Memphis, man.
That's a good question. I mean, I don't know. I mean, for LeBron's, I guess the man might be hurt for real. Like, I mean, he been dealing with an ankle. He said he got an ankle, and it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Yeah, you're right. But he been having that ankle injury since the All-Star break. That ain't stopping him from. I bet you if it was the in-season tournament trophy was that second half in-season tournament trophy was that they can't play. But anyway, no. So back to I love how you explain like roster constructions and super teams and how things were built back in the day, where it's like you had a bona fide superstar, a number 2 player, and then you had role players. But if you look at how all of those teams were constructed, it's like they all had sophisticated offenses. They had a good coach and a sophisticated offense, where there's no one team that you name when you start talking about Denver, San Antonio, the Bulls. They all had an offense that wasn't dominated just by one person. Now, one person may have gotten the majority of the shots in the case of the Bulls, but like when you start talking about San Antonio, I remember when they played Miami, when they was that year after they beat them. Man, that ball was moving so much. You ain't know who was going to shoot, who was going to score. Back cuts, screens, and the same thing with Denver. That's why they so hard to beat right now, because it's like, they got the 2-man game, but then if you overplay it, then you got Murray shooting wide open threes, and you got the role players, and then you got Aaron Gordon in the dunker spot going back door. So it's like, if you don't need a super team, you just need players to understand their role.
That's true. You need. I mean, definitely, if you want to contend, you gonna need that superstar. That's go put. I mean, but like you said, after that, a good co-star and good supporting role players is really all you need. Now you got to play defense and play good basketball. But the fastest way to being a contender without playing good basketball is to form a super team, and that's what LeBron was doing a lot. He was getting on these teams and they wanted to contend. The year he got there, he didn't have time to put some pieces around him to build. So he bought the pieces with him and they made drastic changes. And now you got this super team. And 95% of the time you get on the floor with 3 superstars in their prime, you're going to be having an advantage over everybody you're playing. All right. The only thing that's going to beat you is a team that got something close to it that just plays better basketball, and that's what San Antonio and Dallas did. But appreciate it, Greg, man. I got some other callers coming here. I'm gonna try to cipher through them, and so I can get to the next topic and end it.
So I can get to the next.
Caller from California, shut YouTube down, man. You live?
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me? You got to cut YouTube off.
Damn, man.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I finally got a hold of you. This
What's up?
3 new member. Yeah. Hey, man. I'm looking at how things are in the league, and it's almost kind of like, you got the super teams for, trying to win the chip, and then the NBA, you got the star for the ticket sales, and it's like trying to navigate between the two, is kind of crazy. It's gotten to the point to where, like, I have to watch WNBA games just to see good fundamentals.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's. Man, you see when you talk about work ethics and things, I guess the women, because they feel like they're women, so we have to work harder and compete harder.
it shows when you're watching the games and stuff. God forbid if they lower the rim a little bit so, women can start dunking, then, it might take over some things.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't make nothing no better. I like it the way it is with the females. I don't want to see them dunking. They dunks gonna be, primitive anyway. So, you know what I mean?
I'm totally with you. See, you know what? I play music. I'm with a group we call Funk's Most Wanted. And then when you see our name on the bill, it says Funk's Most Wanted and the crowd comes out. But then like we have 3 guys up front that sing. And then sometimes, it might be one of them that's sick or something. So they don't show up and then we just go on without the 2. Right. So it don't say that, it's Rulon, Stu, and Clay in concert. It says it's Funk's Most Wanted in concert.
Right.
So, when you pay for the ticket, you pay, hey, you just, whatever happens. But, it's just the joy of being there, being in the crowd. I actually got a chance to meet LeBron when I went to a Laker game because I got a partner, season ticket holder, and he always treats me to 2 games a year. And we're like 8th row from the floor. And he was leaning up against the pole. I was like, yeah, let me get this shot, man. And he was all cool and everything, like that, which he's supposed to be because it's, all about, the fans.
Yeah, he'll dope dude. I ain't never heard nothing bad about him from nobody as a person, man. He's a dope dude, man. Real dope.
Yeah,
dude.
But like you said, his navigation is different from, Kobe's and Mike, people like AI, who's still to this day, one of my favorites. When I do my Mount Rushmore, I try to do positions, and the only reason I don't have Jordan there is because I got Kobe. And if I didn't have Kobe, I would have Jordan there. But you only got 4 spots. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I have Kobe, and then, for my center, of course, I have Kareem.
Yeah.
And then I put it, and this is hard because I'm stuck between AI and Kyrie. And I know Steph is the all-time shooter and everything, but I'm either going Kyrie or AI. So with the load management thing, I understand it. Basketball is different these days, and if they're legitimately hurt, I'm with it. You don't want to enter your body and stuff, but then. I've seen players where they duck games because they didn't want to play against the other superstar on the team.
You think that's what LeBron doing?
Hey, I'm just saying, I can't say that's what he is doing, but hey, like you said, Kobe will line people up and then play them one-on-one to get better, and then some people is like, I'm gonna just work on my body so I can play longer.
Yeah.
And it don't matter if I go up against this person or I don't go up against this person. Long as when I do go up against somebody, I'm looking good at it.
Yeah. Well, look, man, thanks for the call, man. I got one more call I got to get in before I go to the next topic.
All right. Appreciate the
All
show.
Right,
and I'll be doing some super chats.
All right. Appreciate it, brother. Right. Thank you. Rolling, man. You calling me from new numbers and stuff like that, man. Getting sent straight to voicemail. What's up?
My bad, man. Yeah, this is my backup phone. My other phone is dead, so it's charging. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So, great topic. I'll try to be really fast. So obviously, I think all of us have MJ over both LeBron and Kobe Bryant, right? The only question is, so between MJ and Kobe is how big is that gap? That's the biggest question between MJ and Kobe. I think if you just talking about MJ, Kobe, and LeBron, I think most people will say, and I would agree, if you're just looking at just the stats, just the statistical empirical evidence, you would have that Michael Jordan number 1, LeBron number 2, Kobe number 3. But if you're taking into account other things that are not statistical, the intangibles. That's where many fans, many players especially, have Kobe ahead of LeBron, but still behind Michael Jordan. You know, if you're just looking at just stats and accolades, I think, you know, whether you're talking about longevity or not, MJ is number one, and then you will have just with the, if you're just talking about stats and accolades, then LeBron number two and Kobe would be number three. But if you're taking the other things into account, then Kobe gets the edge over LeBron as far as mental toughness, a clutch player, fundamentals especially. You know, that's where I think Kobe. But the thing is that's a lot of that stuff we're doing is the eye test, and it's more opinion. It's hard for us to agree. Like what you might say is good handles, I might not say is good handles. What I might say is good, a good post player. You might say, no, that's not really a good post player because even we're both doing the eye test, but we see different things. So that's why I think we can't eliminate statistics. You know, I think a lot of people growing up hated math, and I think it plays out in sports. People still hate math, and but we can't get away from it because it's the only objective, like evidence that we have.
Yeah, it's not even. So two things about the stats. It's not even math. They already did the math. The statisticians already did the math for us. We just looking at it after the fact. Like, you know, if somebody put 2 + 2 on the board and someone else answer it and it's 4, and I show up and I see 4 on the board, I didn't do math. I just looked at it and said, oh, 4, right? So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at 40,000 points. We're not doing math, so we're not running from it because it's math. It's just that no one is playing to achieve that. If the name of the game is whoever have the most points at the end of their career, we go give them 10 rings, then maybe people will be going for points. But if no one is going to go get the most points, and one guy is, and he go get the most points, how do we celebrate that? Like you get what I'm saying? Like if I run a totally separate race and you run a totally separate race and you win that race, how do you say you beat me if we didn't even run the same race? If I'm running the race of wins and complete player, and you're running the race of stats, we wasn't running the same race, so we can't compare it. Like I can't use that to say that one is better. But what I do know is that everyone is trying to get the rings. So it makes more sense for us to count rings and not count stats.
Right. Well, you're right. Most of the math has been done for us, but not all of it. For example, Chris Broussard is the one who comes up with LeBron has won one championship every 5 years, I believe, and Jordan's won one championship every 2.5 years. I don't think that's not a stat that all of us are keeping. And there's more. There's other things that people are looking at, and but that's just one because that's really big to me. I mean, that shows that Jordan has been twice as successful, or his rate of winning championship is twice that of LeBron James. I never did it for Kobe. I don't know what 5 out of 20. I think that's a 1/4, so that's 25%. So that's I think that's better. No, that's not actually well, I don't want to do math right now on the phone, but yeah, you're right. You know, a lot of the statistics math has already been done for us, but there's still some things where I know I probably shouldn't have said math, numbers. People run away from numbers. Like as soon as you start talking about averages and stuff like that, some people just buckle up and they say, you know, why are you bringing that in? Because
no one's playing for that. Everybody's playing for rings. Nobody's playing for stats.
I agree. Now, what I'm saying about numbers is that numbers and statistics are supposed to be a natural reflection of how good you are. You shouldn't be trying to get, like, I really honestly believe that Jordan wasn't trying to get 10 scoring titles. He was just that good at scoring, and it just came naturally. LeBron, he's obviously looking at, when they show the clip of him looking at the stat sheet in the middle of games, then he's obviously not playing like MJ and Kobe and other people are playing. So, and it's hard to tell. In that case, you could tell LeBron is playing for stats because we've seen images of him looking at the stat sheet in the middle of the game. And I've never seen Jordan do that, but just the way Jordan talks about the game, I think he just naturally was that good at scoring. He was naturally going to get the lead the league in scoring all of those years. So, you know, and I don't know. I kind of feel like when we had a conversation about Kobe, MJ, and Kyrie about who has better skills, you know, and I would just ask just to think about it this way: is somebody might say Kobe's better, somebody might say Kyrie's better, somebody might say MJ's better, but I would say, okay, you have to go. Those three players have to go out and prove who's better. And to me, the only way that proves it is what we see you do as far as the numbers. I mean, because like I said, you're going to say Kyrie, you might say Kyrie has handles. I say Kyrie has handles, but somebody in the chat might say, nah, because his turnovers. They might say Kobe, had a crossover, but his turnovers were kind of high. So I'm going to count that against him for his handles. Jordan didn't do the crossover, but his turnovers are very low. So I'm going to say that guy probably had handles because he took care of the ball. When it comes to Kyrie for a career, he's 23, 4, and 5. That's 4 rebounds. Kobe is 25, 5, and 4. So he had 4.7 assists per game, and Jordan was 36 and 5. So between all three of them, Jordan was the only one who averaged 5 or more for assists and rebounds. They all scored over 20 for points. Jordan was the only one who was 30 for points. So I gotta take that. That's a knock on Kobe that Kobe didn't average. I mean, he was close. 4.7 assists per game was close, but he didn't average 5 assists per game or more.
Yeah, but you gotta ask yourself what that means though. Like we're talking about career averages, right? And we know for a fact that Kobe's career averages was heavily affected by his first 3 years of not playing.
Okay.
So when you take those stats from his first 3 years, it's going to be significantly low, right? So do we look at Kobe's 4 assists or 4 rebounds or 5 rebounds and say he's not a good rebounder? No, that's what the stats can't really give you an answer on, and that's when you have to watch him play and know that Kobe was an above average rebounder for his position for sure, and he was an above average passer for his position. So I'm not going to the statistics to tell me how good a player was at one thing or another. On top of that fact, that you got to ask yourself how they played the game. Did Kobe play the game at the point guard position where he was making all the passes, or was he off the ball the most? You get what I'm saying? So where's his assist going to come from if he always had a point guard? If he always had a point forward? He had Ron Harper, he had Van Exel, he had Fisher, he had Lamar Odom, he had Smush Park. He had so many people that ran the point for him, and then he played in the triangle. You're not going to accumulate a lot of assists like that. Now, if you're playing point guard, then guess what? You're probably going to get a lot of assists. James Harden, Russell Westbrook, or whoever plays point forward, LeBron James, Luka, whatever. You're going to get a lot of assists. So I can't look at the stats and say who's good at this and who's not, because I just have to go by the film. But
what about Kyrie averaged 4 rebounds per game for his career. You don't think that's an accurate assessment of his rebounding abilities?
Not as accurate as my eyes. See, when you have a trained eye, you can just go off your eyes.
Okay.
When you don't have a trained eye, you have to go by the stats. When you've played basketball under the whistle or on some type of organized play with competition that was a competitive league, you know what it feels like to do X, Y, and Z. I know how hard it is to play with a player who the offenses ran through him 100%, and I got to stand off in the corner. I know how that feels. I know how I need to get in the rhythm for my shots to fall, and it's real hard to get in the rhythm when I'm catching and shooting all the time. I know when I'm not getting the ball that much, how that affects me on defense mentally. You know, I might check out, I might not check. You get what I'm saying? I know how all that stuff happens. I know what playing the point guard position is like, and then coming down to help the rebound. And I know when Westbrook comes down and grabs rebounds when he was at OKC from the point guard position, I know that that he misses an opportunity for his big man to get that rebound and outlet pass to him as close to the half court line as possible. You get what I'm saying? So when my big man get the rebound and I go on that outlet and he's able to kick it out to me, that takes out 3 dribbles out of all that one pass takes away 3 dribbles. Right. And that's the fast break. But Westbrook going out and then snagging that rebound and then taking off running, that takes away that opportunity for that early offense, man. So all that stuff means stuff, and people don't, when they look at the stats and don't know what it took to get those stats and all and the butterfly effect and all that stuff, you know, it's kind of hard to have that conversation with them.
Would you say that? But if it was just between trained eyes and non-trained eyes, I would agree with you. But the fact is, when it comes to training, there's all kinds of training. There's levels. So you and like I say, you might have a better trained eye than everybody in the chat. But then we sit you with Gilbert Arenas. All of a sudden, he might look at you as somebody that's not as trained as him. He'll say you're trained, but not as him. But then Gilbert Arenas sits with Kobe Bryant, and Kobe looks at Gilbert and say, no, you're trained, but you're not as trained as me. Then Michael Jordan will sit with Kobe and say, you are very trained, very, very trained, but you're still missing some things. And they're all learning from you. So that's why I feel like it's not reliable enough because it varies. And the numbers, they don't change. It's like, it's 5 today, it'll be 5 tomorrow. Like, you know,
but there's a reason why that number is there though. It's really a reason why that number is there, right? So, you know, and it takes a train out to know why that number is there, because looking at the numbers tells me one thing. I can look at all right. So if I want it to be as absolute as a number, right? 5 is always 5. If I want it to be absolute, then my conclusion from that absolute number has to be something absolute. Right. So if I look at the 5 rebounds versus 4 rebounds, the conclusion I draw is that you recorded more rebounds on average than player A recorded more rebounds on average than player B. That's the absolute answer you get from it. But what people are doing is saying 5 rebounds and 4 rebounds and saying he's a better rebounder than player B, which is not necessarily true because it's so many circumstances that go in why he got that 5. So if you look at it and make the statement, he rebounded on average more than he did because he got 5 and he got 4, then I would agree. That's what numbers are for. But you can't take that further step and say that also means that he's a better rebounder.
And I would say that it's hard. That means I don't know if we can ever say somebody's better than anybody because if we can't rely on the numbers and the other one is all varies depending on the person and how much training they have. Can we ever say that somebody's better than somebody definitively?
Sure you can. I can definitively say that Dennis Rodman is a better rebounder than Luka Doncic, but Luka Doncic averaged 10 rebounds. Someone might look at those numbers and say that Luka is as good a rebounder as Rodman. But when you watch the film, what does that tell you that answer? Do you think Luka is a good rebound? Do you think if it was up to Luka and Rodman to get the rebound, you taking Luka how many times out of 10?
0,
right? But what if I told you they both averaged 10 rebounds?
I mean
what if I told what if I told you who's another? Hold on, let me you know what? Let's you can pull up the stats. And you can see what Luka is rebound. Let's go to NBA rebound leaders right now, right? For the season.
Luka, he's averaging like 8 rebounds because I know he's doing better than LeBron. So, but I don't know exactly the numbers. He's averaging 8 or more rebounds. But you can check and see what it says.
He's averaging 9 rebounds, right?
Oh, man. For his career?
This season.
Oh,
but he might be close to that for his career because he's been flirting with a triple double since he got in the league. So
for his career, it's like 8. It's like 8.
It's probably 8. Yeah. But he's averaging 9. He's averaging 9 rebounds per game, right? I'm looking at let's see. I'm looking at LeBron James averaging 7 rebounds per game. Do you think Luka's a better rebounder than LeBron?
Not overall, but you're taking the 40-year-old LeBron versus.
Okay, let's go younger. Lauri Markkanen averaging 8 rebounds a game. Luka averages 9. Do you think Luka is a better rebounder than Lauri Markkanen?
I don't even know who that player is. Who's that?
He's the all-star that plays for Utah. He made all-star last year.
Oh, I haven't seen any.
The power forward that can shoot. I think he came out of Arizona. All right. What about 6'8" Paolo Banchero? He's only averaging 6.8 rebounds a game. Luka's averaging 9. Do you think Luka is a better rebounder than Paolo?
What position does he play?
Small forward, power forward. What about Zion Williamson? He's averaging 6 rebounds. Luka's averaging 9. Do you think Luka is a better rebounder than Zion?
That's strange that he's averaging less rebounds than him.
What about Jaren Jackson Jr.? 6'11". He's averaging 5.5 rebounds. You think Luka's a better rebounder than Jaren Jackson Jr.? I mean, the list goes on. Carl Anthony Towns averaging 8 rebounds. Do you think Luka's a better rebounder than Carl Anthony Towns? Pascal Siakam, 7 rebounds. Miles Bridges, 7.5 rebounds. Who's a better rebounder, Luka?
No, you can't. Well, the thing with Zion Williamson, because if I saw them both standing on outside, I would definitely look at them and say, okay, Zion Williamson is a better. It should be a better rebound, but I will also say he should average more. But like you say, it could be the situation of but what about people could say that is because Zion Williamson is not a disciplined player.
No, it's not. So that's where the trained eye comes at. I can tell you how Luka gets his rebounds. All right, we're in a league that shoots more jump shots and more threes in this league than at any other time. And we know that what comes from long jump shots and threes, long rebounds. So the rebounding battle is not happening inside the paint like the rebounds that Dennis Rodman was getting. If you go watch a Dennis Rodman rebound, he's fighting for those rebounds. When the last time you seen Luka fight for a rebound? The rebounds are not happening inside the paint. You don't have to fight for them. You don't have to box out for them. You don't even have to jump for them most of the time. That long rebounds, and whoever is the fastest man to get to the perimeter is probably gonna get that rebound. Well, why is Luka always on the perimeter? Because Luka's always guarding someone off the ball, and he's always been hit on defense, right? So one thing he's not doing is always contesting the shot from the guy who's shooting it, right? He's not the one contesting the shot on a jump shot. That's the least most favorable guy to get the rebound, the ones who's playing defense on the ball and contesting the shot. So he's not doing that because they're taking him off the ball because they don't want him to foul and they don't want him to give up a layup because his defense isn't that good. And he's not playing the post player, right? So where is he at? Somewhere off in the corner, just standing on a 9-shooter. And when the shot goes up, he don't even have to box out. All he got to do is take a couple of steps and just track where the ball is landing. So you get 8 of them a game, and you might get 2 rebounds. You might have to fight for. Now you got 10 rebounds. Does that make you a great rebounder? No.
But for every example that you have of when the numbers don't work, I have the same amount of examples of when the numbers do work. For example, you mentioned Dennis Rodman at first. So Luka's averaging 8 for his career. Dennis Rodman averaged 13 for his career. Now Luka's averaging 28 points per game for his career or something like that. And Dennis Rodman averaged 7 points per. So that right there, the numbers work out.
Yeah, but but listen, it's not hard I don't need the stats for me to know Luka's a better scorer than Rodman. All I gotta do is watch the game and be like, he's a better scorer than Rodman. I don't need not one stat. You can grab me somebody who averaged the exact same amount of points for their career as Rodman, and I could still look at him and say he's a better scorer than Rodman. Like, you don't need the stats for that because stats have too many circumstances going into it why they are there.
But you do know that obviously the stats are going to outlast all of our experiences, so that people 20, 30 years from now, all they're going to have is the stats. I mean, YouTube is nice, but we don't know if YouTube's going, but books and stuff are going to be around.
Well, I feel sorry for them. If all they're going to have is the stats. I feel bad for them.
Well, you should feel bad for us because a lot of us didn't see Bill Russell. All we had, and Will Chamberlain.
I'm good. I'm good. I wasn't supposed to see Bill Russell. If I was supposed to see Bill Russell, I would have been born in that time. I'm good with the players I've seen.
But we're gonna have an intelligent conversation about Will Chamberlain and Bill Russell. We can't ignore them. All we could do now, because we couldn't see them, right? All we could do is just go to the stats, right? I mean, we don't have to talk about Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain. It's better that we do talk about players that we have seen.
I got you rolling, but this and I say this so I can go to the next topic. But this is my point. It's good for people who need the stats. I'm not telling people not to use them if you need them. If you need training wheels, then use the training wheels. But for the guys who play ball and can look at the game and see and know what they see just from watching it, we can ride the bikes without training wheels. We can pop wheelies. Hey, we can even ride on the handlebars. We can do those things, but it's okay if you're on training wheels. I ride bike with my son when he was little, while he was on training wheels all the time. He don't need them now.
I agree with you. Said there's no bikes for Will Chamberlain, Bill Russell, and that whole generation. You agree with that, right?
That's why I don't compare them too much to people that I've seen. I can if all I have is stats for Wilt Chamberlain, I didn't live through him. I didn't see him play his whole career, and I'm comparing him to someone who I have seen play their whole career. I can't fairly compare them the way I would want to, but I would take both of their stats and compare them because that's the only thing I got. To be fair to the guy that I don't have footage for, I won't use the footage for the other guy. I just use the paper, right? I just use the stats. So I do that. But if I have the footage, I lived through your career, and I had the stats. If I need them, then I can fairly compare a player, and I'm going to lean heavily on my eyes more than I am with the stats. I would use the stats as a supplement, though.
Okay, I got that. Okay, I agree with that. That's good. That sounds good. All right, Mel, thank you for taking my call.
All right, thanks, bro. Did that make sense though? Unpopular truth. Thanks for the super chat, bro. That was a bad take on load management. It probably was. I mean, but y'all don't agree with everything I say. We all say some things that we kind of agree with and don't agree with, and that's the good thing about this community that we building here with Man Down is that we can disagree and we can still have that good conversation, a good civil conversation. Where I don't have, like, we just had a conversation just now, me and Roland. We didn't agree on that, but we had the conversation and we got off the phone still cool as we were when we first started the conversation. It was respectful, and I appreciate that. Full Venom Jacket, $10 super chat. I appreciate that, big dog. AOH went over this BS recently. LeBron is a layup merchant, shoots 37% for his career outside of 3 feet. That's facts. Context matters. Scoring is up 15 points, and when LeBron came into the league, that's context as well. Yeah. When people say that his field goal percentage is 50% and Kobe's is 45%, and they use that to say he's a better shooter than Kobe, I think that's weird, especially when we know that Kobe was primarily a jump shooter. And when you look at jump shooters like Klay Thompson, Ray Allen, Rip Hamilton, that shot mostly jump shots, 45% is not a bad percentage to have when you're shooting mostly jump shots, right? And also, we also know that LeBron, once you move him further from the paint, his percentages dip. He's shooting a high clip this year, 41% from 3, but that's year 21. It's about time you figure that 3-point shot out, right? You shoot 41%, awesome. And then also, scoring is up 15 points, so that means it's 15 points to be had out there. Who's probably going to get it? Your second or your first best player. So now when you look at 30 points in this era, it's more equivalent to 25 points in the 90s. 25 points is more equivalent to 20 points in the 90s. So the 20 points that Mike got with the Wizards is equivalent to getting 25 in this era with the 15 more points. So that's my thought on that, man. I appreciate the super chat. All right. Let's move to our last topic. But let me get this call off. All right. So the last topic, man, LeBron James. I had already decided what I was going to talk about with this topic. And this is another interview with on Club Shay Shay. This is D-Wade. This is another interview that's older. I think this was late last year when they did this interview. And it's another interview I always kept in the back of my head that I wanted to talk about, but I never got around to it. But I wanted to do it today, right? And it's 4 clips from this interview that I thought was interesting that D-Wade said, man. He talked about the Heat Big Three. He talked about why they formed. And he talked about LeBron leaving and all that stuff, man. I thought that was interesting to have a conversation around. And I definitely want to take the phone calls for this one. So let's get into some of the things that he said.
I remember cutting my TV off as soon as when Kobe ran and grabbed that ball. I was like, LeBron.
All right, LeBron. Especially losing against them before.
I'm not lying to you. I cut the TV off when I watched that shit. And I watched Kobe run and grab the ball and celebrate. I was like, so what you gonna do? That was our summer free agency. They were dominating. Like, Kobe was winning all these rings. I was like, wait, hold on. Now he got 5 and we got 1? Like, no. So, yeah. that was a.
It's great how
I'll change the league.
How he
I want
created.
y'all to know that.
Yeah, no, thank you. No, we're proud of that. Yeah.
So that goes back to what I was saying with some of the earlier segments, where the gap that was between MJ and Kobe wanted to fill that gap with hard work. And we talked about some of the things that he did for the hard work. Jay, you stupid for that. And here it is. D Wade is explaining there was a gap between Kobe and Wade and Kobe and LeBron at that time. We knew Kobe was the best player. He had just won 2 straight rings against a super team he beat in Boston, and then he came back and beat Orlando in like almost a gentleman's sweep fashion. He was proving that he was the best in the league at that time, right? And we all knew Kobe was the best. So here it is. You got these guys they got next they came in the same draft. They both in their prime. They both superstars. LeBron is easily the second best player in the league at this time, and D Wade is easily the second best shooting guard in the league and a top 5 player at this time. But they're both behind Kobe Bryant. So they're looking at Kobe just like Kobe was looking at Michael Jordan and saying, man, there's a gap between me and Mike. I want to close that gap with hard work. And here's D Wade explaining that when they seen the gap between them and Kobe, they wanted to close that gap with joining up to see if they can catch his ring count. They didn't have the mentality, okay, man, Kobe got another one, 2 straight. Let me get in the gym and work even harder. You know, these 2 guys, Wade and LeBron, were supposed to have been competing against each other. And they definitely were supposed to be competing against Kobe. So their thought process is, let's join each other because we seen what Kobe is doing and we want to catch that, right? So that's my first thought on that. Here's more.
LeBron leaving Miami.
Yeah.
Did you guys have a conversation? Did you know he was thinking about leaving Miami? And did you think he'd go back to Cleveland?
I didn't know he was thinking about it right away. I mean, we just had a 4-year run. That was not what I was thinking about.
Right.
I didn't think Cleveland was on the docket at all.
Right.
Once that letter came out 4 years prior, I was like, well, it's over for them.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
Yeah. And so when we went into free agency that summer, I didn't think that we wasn't coming back.
Right.
I thought we was going to retool. Right. That's what teams do. They retool.
Right.
And so once I started hearing the noise on the outside and I started hearing Cleveland, I started seeing things, I was like, oh, it's some truth to noise.
Right.
Some truth to noise.
Yeah. There's truth even in a lie.
Yeah, there's something in there. And I didn't even know it was a thing because we never talked about, hey, that was never our conversation.
Right.
And so when I did get the information from him that he was headed back to Cleveland, I took it like I take everything else. I took it on the chin because I'm not a selfish guy. I have selfish acts and selfish moments, but my whole being is not selfish. And so if that's what that man want to do for his life, like I support him doing it. I just got to now figure out my life because I had a whole different plan for how I wanted mine to go.
Right.
And, one thing I told him in that moment, we were sitting outside the plane. I think even the camera crew might have got us talking because we had just flew back in from Vegas before the announcement was made the next day. And we're sitting out there and I told him, I said, man, listen, everybody's going to win no matter what you do. If you stay here, we all win. LeBron James stays in Miami, we win. You go to Cleveland, Cleveland's going to win. Ultimately, you got to do what's best for LeBron.
Right.
And so if this is what's best for LeBron James, Savannah James, Bryce and Bronny, and so he wasn't at that stage. If this was better for your family, you got if you're looking for blessing for me, you got my blessing. Right. I'm not going to hold you back. Now I got to go deal with my side because I had a whole different mentality. I opted out of my deal. I did all these things because I'm like, hey, we retooled it.
Right.
And so a lot of people like to say, like, was it a part of me that was a little pissed? Yeah. I'm human.
Right.
I don't want to lose the best player in the game.
Right.
What do we do? Why did we lose him?
Right.
And also, too, now I got to figure out my future. Right. Because I've given up a lot of my stardom and I've given up my place for you to step in and help lead us. And so it took me a while. And Brian and I had a conversation later before I got to Cleveland about that moment and how I felt. Right. Like and how he felt. We sat down as men and we talked about that moment and we moved on from it.
So obviously Wade didn't know what LeBron was thinking at that time. He said he definitely didn't think Cleveland was a possibility. He also said that they had to have that conversation at some point, and which tells me he probably was pissed off. Like, man, come on, man. We came over here and we thought we was going to do something for a long time, and it makes you wonder, why did LeBron leave? And a lot of people would say he had unfinished business in Cleveland, and it was a storybook ending for him to go over there and deliver them a ring, because that definitely is a great storyline for his legacy, right? So, but the bottom line is LeBron was thinking about his legacy. He's always legacy driven. He's always thinking about his legacy. Every move that I make is legacy driven, right? So he's not just concentrating on, hey man, I just want to win. It's about, all right, man, how does this affect my legacy? That's big on him, because he's already been very vocal that he wanted to be the GOAT. Like, he's always said, I want to be the greatest of all time. I want people to call me the GOAT, right? So he's got to be thinking about legacy. Every move he make, legacy. Every team he goes to, how does this affect my legacy? What does this go look like on the storyline? To the tune of, you'll come up, use D-Wade for a couple of rings, and then piece him out. Why did you leave D-Wade? Well, let's talk about D-Wade, what was going on with the last year he was with LeBron in Miami.
The first championship season that y'all had, how was it to see a whole...
No, not that one.
D-Wade doesn't have the 2 knee surgeries in the NBA, and he played 16 seasons. What's D-Wade numbers?
You doing your GOAT conversation with me. You doing what's your bad? What they bad?
Yeah. So I'd have had to go back on when I'm talking about D-Wade. I'd have had to.
Well, I mean, like I said, we talking about ifs. You take away the injuries away, I'm still playing basketball right now if I want to.
Wow.
Right? Because it's the injuries and everything and the mental, right? But if I'm healthy enough, like I know how to, like, you gotta understand something about my game multiple ways. Right. I played the game multiple ways. So even right now, even when I got older, I had another game that still was effective as an old player. So in my mind, you motherfucking right. I was one of them dudes. Like, you couldn't tell me in 06, 07, 08 that I wasn't going to where I wanted to go. Right? Like, why not? I'm tearing like, the league it's not hard for me. I'm averaging 30 a game in the NBA. And so forth and so on. And I already won a finals MVP. I already won a championship in my 3rd year. I did that. So in my mind, I'm very confident and quietly cocky about where I'm going. And then injuries start boom, boom, boom. And it humbled me real quick.
When did you realize that you possibly, because of the injuries, wasn't going to reach the ultimate player that you wanted to become, that you was going to have to, like, okay, I'm a great player, but I know I had so much more in me if I didn't have this injury?
I mean, as you get older. So somewhere in that big 3 era, where you
didn't look the same that 2014, that LeBron's last year.
I wasn't the same. Ain't no look. I wasn't. I was getting shots before all the games.
Really?
Oh man, we'll do a documentary later.
Okay.
Like all the knee injections and the shots and all that stuff, man, to get out there and perform. Like, I did a lot of those things to be able to get out there. My body felt like I got smacked by a Mack truck. Like, and that's how I was playing, right? And I was doing everything to medicate myself to be out there. And so, yeah, I realized that at a point, man, I think it was one time, like, you just over the years, like when I used to get past somebody, one step, bow, I'm at the rim. And my body, I'm putting you in the rim. And then it became one step, I don't even get to this floater. One step, let me get to the side step. I can't even get back. It's the same. So like you know these things. If you're a person who get out the shower in the morning, you actually look in the mirror at yourself, you know who you are. You talk to yourself in the mirror like I do. So I knew over the time, I was like, oh, I'm losing a little of these steps.
So you heard him. He said that 2014 year, the last year they was together, he was icing up. He was getting injections in his knees and back, and he just wasn't the same. He lost a step and all that stuff. So D-Wade was dealing with it. So if you LeBron James and you're looking at the end of your career and your legacy, you got 2 rings right now, right? The magic number is 6. Even Kobe wanted to get 6 or more. The magic number is 6. You know you want to get 6. You don't know how you're going to get 6, right? But you're looking at Wade and you're looking at him icing his knees and getting injections just to play games, and you know he ain't gonna last much longer. So if I sign another contract with Miami for 3 years, my number 2 is just gonna be Chris Bosh, and Wade is gonna be he's gonna be basically what Ron Harper was for the Bulls, a shell of himself. That's what he was looking at. And in his mind, Chris Bosh wasn't enough for him, right? Well, Chris Bosh is a 18, 19 points per game scorer, which is all Scottie Pippen was. I mean, his best year was 22 points. And that was the year when Jordan left. That's the year he was in the MVP discussion. 22 points was Scottie Pippen best. Scottie Pippen was normally a 16 to 18 point per game scorer. And Chris Bosh was all of that. Chris Bosh could have been the Scottie Pippen for LeBron James. But he looked at that and was like, nah, I need something more than that. You know, I'm used to having a Wade and a Bosh. So I need to go find somewhere where I can have a Wade and a Bosh. And he looked over at Cleveland and he saw Kyrie. And he looked over at Minnesota and saw Love. You can go and Google this. Even before he even got to Cleveland, when he first got to Cleveland, he said, I want Kevin Love. And he told them, you know, I signed, but that number 1 pick you just drafted in Andrew Wiggins, I can't train no rookie on my watch. Bring me Kevin Love. I need an all-star. Somebody that's already an all-star. So he gets Kevin Love in the trade for Andrew Wiggins, and he's already got Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is already an all-star. He walked into 2 all-stars in their prime with no injuries. He ran from Wade because of his knees and the injuries. He got out of there quick because if I stay here, it's going to be really hard for me to get back to the finals because Wade knees ain't cutting it. So he ran from Wade and went over there Kyrie Irving and Love, and now he got 2 all-stars in their prime. And hey, let's make one more trade to get J.R. Smith. He basically did the same thing he had in Miami with Bosh, Wade, and Ray Allen on as a shooter, and went over there and got Kyrie, Love, and J.R. Smith. He seen the same exact thing, was like, I go get younger. Ray Allen is old. He had to retire. J.R. Smith is in his prime and younger. Love is in his, he's the Chris Bosh, but he's younger. Kyrie would be Wade, but younger. That's what he went and got. And he seen that and was like, bam, that's what I'm going to do. Because at the end of the day, it's about my legacy. Can I get a ring this way? And if I do get a ring, guess what? I'm getting it in Cleveland. That's going to be big time. That one right there made me the GOAT, right? So that's what he did. And then when Kyrie Irving couldn't take it no more and he left, he was like, J.R. Smith and Kevin Love ain't enough for me. I'm leaving Cleveland again. Magic Johnson, can you go bring me AD? He tried to get Kawhi. He tried to get KD. He tried to get Paul George. He tried to do it one more time with AD and Kawhi, or AD and KD, or AD and Paul George. But they couldn't get those. Kawhi said no. He went to the Clippers. Paul George went to the Clippers. KD didn't want to come there. He went to the Nets or whatever, right? So he just went over there with AD, and the bubble happened. And without that bubble, you're looking at a disaster there because he don't have what he normally has with 2 prime superstars helping him out. He don't have that. He only got 1. The ring that they got, it was a bubble. AD wouldn't even, like, when you look at an 82 game season, a regular season plus playoffs, you're seeing the best that the Lakers could do is what they did last year. What was that? Conference finals. Other than that, they missed the playoffs. First round exit. Another missed playoffs. You know, so it's a lot of failure in there if you don't just look at the bubble. So that's what it really boils down to. But how did LeBron fool us if Wade is that good? Because what he just said, Wade just said, look, man, before LeBron came over here, I was in the MVP discussion. I had a better year than LeBron statistically the year that he won MVP. The only difference is I think LeBron deserved it because his team won 66 games that year. So you got to give it to the guy who led the team that won 66 games. If y'all numbers are pretty identical, I'm going with LeBron, but Wade was in the discussion. That's how good he was. Wade was supposed to be rivaling Kobe. Wade was supposed to be rivaling LeBron. So we see how good he is. So what happened when LeBron shows up to Wade's team and Wade is outplaying him in the finals against Dallas? Wade's averaging almost 30 and LeBron averaged 17. What happened after that? Well, here's David Fisdale talking about how they worked that out.
The first championship season that y'all had, how was it to see a whole season and be a part of that and go to a championship?
It was amazing, D. But I tell you, it started in the year that we lost. You know,
the year before, y'all got everybody.
We went to the end and played against Dallas and lost, and that had a lot to do with us winning the next two. D Wade, you know, came to me before practice one day and was like, "Listen, I'm gonna tell this dude that it's his team because he obviously doesn't see that it is his, and so I think he needs to hear it from me." Because he's giving me too much respect. He's like, this dude's the best player in the world. This is his now. And so I said, hey, lay it on him. You know, I think it'll help him. And sure enough, Bron comes in the gym. We're shooting free throws. It's just us three in the gym. And D-Wade kind of looks at me and Bron shoots and he holds the ball and he goes, man, this is yours. And Bron kind of looked at him like he didn't know what he was talking about at first. And he was like, Bron, this is your team. He was like, I'm here to help you now. He was like, yeah. And, you know, D always clowning. He was like, yes, this is always going to be Wade County. Don't forget it. So this is Wade County. He said, but at the end of the day, for the rest of the time we here together, this is your team. And I'm going to follow you and I'm going to support you. D was much more about winning than personal stuff. Just by him doing those little acts that no one really got to see, but we got to witness it on a daily basis. It would have never worked if he didn't take that step back.
He said it would have never worked if Wade didn't take a step back, right? And I want to compare that with other stars, right? Other co-stars, and we'll use the example of Kobe, we use the example of Mike. Their co-stars never took a step back. Right. So they always was their natural self 100%. Everything that Pippen could have been in the league, he was that even when he was playing with Mike. He had to take a step back. Like I said, his averages was around 18 points with Mike. Without Mike, it was only 22. Right? 4 more points. But he was still getting the rebounds and still getting the assist as a point forward. So he was able to play his game with Mike. He just had 4 less points. He was still an all-star, all of that stuff, right? Pau Gasol, he didn't have to take a step back when he came to play with Kobe. He was Pau, the same Pau he was in Memphis. He played his game in Memphis, right? So that taking a step back thing is weird to me. Why do so many people have to take a step back to play with LeBron? Right, that's a good question. So and it was necessary because you seen what happened when Wade played his natural game against Dallas. He averaged 30, but LeBron averaged 17 and they lost. So if Wade is himself, then LeBron falls into a player that's averaging 17 and doesn't look like someone that should be in the conversation with Mike and Kobe. So Wade had to take a step back so LeBron can play his game, right? That's weird to me. The reason being is because when Wade is playing his game, then that puts LeBron James more often than not off the ball, which he didn't develop elite off-ball skills. So how is he going to get his point if he doesn't have the ball? How is he going to get his high percentage shots if he don't have the ball running high screen roll at the top of the key? So not only did Wade have to take a step back, he had to play the style that LeBron was more comfortable with because he's limited offensively. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. That's all I wanted to say about it. I'm gonna open the phone lines up, and this we'll go with probably 4 or 5 phone calls, 4 or 5 quick ones, no longer than a minute and 30 seconds. So get on here, say what you got to say. I might respond, I might not, but after that, I expect to get off so we can end this show before we hit 3 hours. But yeah, that's my whole thoughts on that. Caller from Ohio, what's up?
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm good.
That's good. Hey, a couple things. I did see Wade, Bosh, and LeBron the first year. I said, let me go see them in case it don't work out and they break them up or whatever, something happens. So I did go see them the first year. And actually I did see Steph, Clay, and KD their first year. I said, let me go see that. Well, yeah, was it your first year? But to the Wade point, man, when I watched Dwayne Wade, and that, like I said, that was the year they lost. And I've seen quite a few NBA players. I mean, I've seen Vince. I've seen Vince almost dunk on the foul line of the game. I've seen Grant Hill, Kobe, Shaq. I haven't seen a lot of the new school guys, but at one time I was going to like 2 or 3 NBA games a year. But Dwayne Wade, man, the way I don't know if you ever seen him in person, but the way he could maneuver, and you can kind of see it on TV, but the way he can maneuver, man, and change directions, man, Dwayne Wade was special. And, man, that worked for the longest. My cats were saying Dwayne Wade was better than LeBron. I was a big LeBron fan. I'm like, no, man, LeBron. He said, man, I'm Dwayne Wade. And then a lot of people was actually saying Carmelo. You know, and you know, I was always saying LeBron because I was looking at his, you know, the totality of what he was doing. But you know, I seen that trio that first year, and I got, man, if you have a few guys you got to see in person to really understand them. Reggie Miller, that's actually when I seen Reggie Miller. Wasn't a big Reggie Miller fan, but when I seen Reggie, I'm like, man, this dude is intense. But Dwayne Wade, if he had stayed healthy, yeah. He's in the GOAT conversation because the way he could maneuver. Remember, he had that between the leg, that front leg kind of step back. Remember, where he could fake like he was going to drive, and then he'd do that. He'd pull up. I mean, Dwayne Wade, man, was special.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And even that Carmelo Anthony point, Melo, Wade, and LeBron, all great players. In my opinion, was all on the exact same level. There was no difference, and it would have been it would have been great for them to have their own team if they needed to join one other guy that wasn't on their level, like a Bosh or Amari Stoudemire. That would have been great. It would have been nice to see Wade and Bosh together in Miami, Melo and Amari together in New York, and LeBron and, you know, I don't know, maybe Tim Duncan. I don't know, no, not Tim Duncan, not nobody that good, but LeBron is somebody. You know, because Kobe had Powell, so Kobe and Powell, right? You know, right. Little man, big man, Melo and Amari, Wade and Bosh, and whoever LeBron could have found that was on that level. It would have been great to see them go head to head. You had Melo in the West with Kobe, and you had LeBron in the East with Wade, but they cheated us out of that.
You remember Miami used to always beat Cleveland too when they played.
Yeah, I don't know if I can I can't remember that far back, but as far as
you do. Oh, Wade, he used to get at it when he played LeBron. I mean, and then like I say with Kobe, you know, the more we talk about Kobe, I think you got to give him more props because what he did, because he went to 3 straight finals. He won 2 in a row, but he played Boston. He went 3 because remember 1 he beat Orlando, right? And then the second one he beat Boston. Because I don't know.
He lost to Boston. Then he beat Orlando. Then he beat Boston.
So people forget Kobe went to 3 straight, even though he only won 2. So a lot of people, you know, you want to count losses too. They ain't thinking about him going to 3 straight. So Kobe got to get a little bit more respect than people think, as far as what he did and what he did with a pal, you know, and who was Lamar Odom, and you know, he had what they call utility players. He didn't have no stud on his team, you know. So you know, you gotta get Kobe more pride. But I'm just saying this. I know you're trying to get a lot of calls in, but Dwayne Wade, I seen him. I actually was in Detroit. Dwayne Wade was special, man. He don't get hurt. You talk about him maybe being number 2 behind Mike, because that dude has some moves, man. I have seen only person who moved like that that I've seen that was that shifty. I mean, change directions without losing a step or no momentum was Iverson, because I've seen Iverson too. But Dwayne Wade was special.
All right, man.
Thanks for the call, man. I'll let you get some more in, but thanks a lot. Good show.
All right, thanks, bro. Yeah, that was a good call. Yeah, super chat. Thank you for the super chat. I have a theory that LeBron was pouting in the 2011 finals because he didn't want to get that Robin label like Kobe did. Bryant shut himself down. Did he shut himself down? Nah. We seen what Dallas was doing. We seen the game plan, and it was working. He was trying. Ronnie, what's up? And plus, he never. That was his first time trying to. I mean, he didn't stand a chance against San Antonio when he got there in Cleveland. But this is his. We got to the finals with this super team. He wanted that ring bad. That was the only reason why he went to Miami. So him shutting it down, but because he wasn't doing good, I doubt that. He just got shut down. That's all it was. Go ahead, Ronnie.
What's going on, brother? How are you?
I'm good.
That's what's up, man. Listen, I'll just say this. The last caller brought up something too at the end about Kobe. That's actually why I got Kobe at number 2, as far as because of who he played with and him going to 3 straight finals, winning 2 back-to-back, doing it with Pau Gasol, and then talking about guys playing together and somebody having to take a step back. I think Kobe took a step back when he was playing with Shaq, but it was a lot that went into that. But I think Shaq was another guy that was like LeBron when it came to like somebody having to take a step back. Kobe had to take a step back. D Wade having to take a step back and not have to play his natural game.
Yeah.
I think that's a problem. But when it comes to guys like Michael and Kobe, if you playing with them, you actually got to step up, not take a step back.
Exactly.
And another, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm going to say this and I'll get off the phone too. There's always this narrative that goes around as far as when it comes to Kobe, when he played with Shaq, everybody always brings that up, that Kobe played with Shaq and not the other way around or whatever. And it never got fixed or people don't really go into depth. I think people just are people are followers. They just go off of what the media says and then they just repeat that and not really, do any due diligence to really see the facts to see exactly if that's valid or not. Because the truth is that Kobe Bryant had left so many receipts to prove that wrong and actually prove that Shaq needed him.
Pretty much.
Shaq never won a championship without a superstar guard. That's a fact. As a matter of fact, Shaq had an opportunity to win championships prior to Kobe Bryant. He didn't get it done. As a matter of fact, he didn't even win a game.
How many times
Kobe never got swept in the NBA Finals ever.
How many times Utah Jazz put the Lakers out before Kobe emerged? Karl Malone was handling Shaq. I mean, it was embarrassing. I was like, man, come on. Shaq didn't become the best man, this Superman, all this stuff until Phil showed up and he put Kobe out there on the floor.
You just took it out of. I was just about to say that. That's another thing that people leave out too, because Shaq came to LA the same year that Kobe did, and they brought Shaq in with the expectation of being contenders and going for championships. And the Lakers had a decent team at the time, which also played a role as to why Kobe didn't start. A lot of people like to say that Kobe wasn't ready. Kobe was young. Don't get me wrong, but he had a lot of competition. It wasn't just Nick Van Exel and Jones. It was Rick Fox too.
Yeah,
they were battling for a position.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot that went into it. But also, what gets left out is that the Lakers didn't actually become contenders as far as really contending for championships until Kobe Bryant became a starter. When he became a starter, not only were they contending, but they won 3 straight finals.
Facts.
That's all I got to say.
All right, man. Thanks.
Yep, have a good one.
That's facts, man. That's facts, man. Let's get 2 more calls before I end it. That's facts. These super teams can barely go back to back. That's funny. Yeah, that's true. That's true, man. Caller from Texas.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's up?
Everything is good. Hey, man, I got a question. When the Redeem team was, in the Olympics, they didn't have a traditional point guard. I think Dwayne Wade was just starting with them, right? Or was LeBron the point guard that year?
That sound about right. I don't remember. Go ahead and talk while I pull it up.
Yeah, I think it was Wade, LeBron, Kobe. I think Melo started, and I don't know if they had Cousins or Mario or Dwight. I think it's probably Dwight back then. My thing is, everybody be talking about that was LeBron's team, and I'll be like, nah, y'all bugging, like big mosquito button. Like that was. I mean, I feel like, with Kobe being his age and his maturity and his accomplishments, and just his game and his wisdom. I mean, that's clear cut who the motherfucking the leader.
I agree. Kobe was the leader of that team. He was the best player on that team. He was the best player in the league at that time, man. So, and Coach K said the same thing. He said he was the best player in the team, in the league at that time, in the world, right? But they did have Jason Kidd and Chris Paul, but I don't know if they started. But this is the funny part. I'll say this and I'll let you finish. Do you know why people say that LeBron was the leader of that team? Because this is why. One thing, because when Kobe was at the free throw line going at it with one of the opponents, LeBron went up to him and was like, "Chill, Kobe," or something like that. He was like, all right, that's enough, man. That's enough. That one thing is what they used to say that LeBron was running that team.
I mean, that's the way LeBron would say. I'm pretty sure Kobe was zoned out. I'm not sure he even heard him or the third.
Hey man, you gotta look it up. As soon as you get out the phone, you gotta look it up. Kobe was yapping with somebody, man. He you're right. He was in the zone, like, you know what I'm saying? He was in the zone and he was yapping, but it was too much because at the end of the day, we supposed to be ambassadors. They used to tell us that all the time in the military, man. When you go overseas, man, you representing for America, and they already got a bad, opinion about us because of rap music and stuff like that. So, you got to be a diplomat over there. So I can understand the way Kobe was going at it with them. That's how we do in the streets. Don't take that over there. Don't take that over there. They ain't built like that. They don't want to fight. Kobe was taking it there. You know what I mean? So it was right for LeBron to reel him back in, but Kobe was on one. But that's what they use. They're like, all right, you see that? He told Kobe to shut up, and Kobe shut up. That's what they use.
I mean, that's funny. I think I saw a little clip where LeBron was making fun of Kobe with his shirt tucked in and doing his little shot and fadeaways and all that. Like, having a good time, camaraderie. It's all cool. But you can tell LeBron, he's a different type of animal. He's laughing and stuff, but it was a different type of situation. But the reason I said that, man, because I heard you said something about how Dwayne Wade had to take a step back, and I was thinking to myself, well, damn, did Kobe take a step back on the Dream Team? I was trying to think back, like, well, damn, I can't look at the highlights. So I'm watching the show. I'm trying in my mind trying to replay how that situation was going. I don't recall. Kobe was still Kobe. Like,
well, no, he did take a step back though. Because remember when he showed up, he went. You gotta let Coach K tell a story, but he went to Coach K and said, "I'm not worried about scoring. Put me on the best offensive player, and I'm gonna lock him down." So he showed up and said, "I'm here for defense. I'm not even giving you my points. I'm here for defense." And it got to the point where Coach K had to tell him to start shooting. Right. So he mentally knew what that team needed. They need toughness. They need a leader. I'm gonna come and do that. Forget the points. The points go come. Y'all can have the points. I'm gonna come lock that. Give me the best player. I'm locking them down. I guarantee you, whoever that best player is, I'm locking them down. And that's what he told. And that was his role on the team. So yeah, he did take a step back, but at the same time, he was taking a step up defensively and as far as a leader. Offensively, he took a step back because it is what it is. But a lot of people around LeBron take those steps back to allow him to do what he needs to do, because the way LeBron plays the game, you get more out of LeBron if you use all his gifts, and his gifts is passing and driving to the rim. So if that's your gifts, then you got to have the ball to do it, and that means I'm not gonna have the ball. And if you got to drive to the rim and I'm a post player, that means that I got to learn how to shoot threes. Chris Bosh, Kevin Love, Anthony Davis, they all had Big Z. They all got to get out of the paint so he can have an open driving lane. So everything that a great player does, I can score in the post or I can score with the ball. You can't do with LeBron because he has to do the way he gets loose, takes away all of that for you.
That sounds more like a handicap than an advantageous type of.
It is a handicap. It gives your co-star and your role players a heavier burden to figure out how to help the team than your best player. And you're never supposed to give a heavier burden to the player that you think is the least player. You're supposed to give the heavier burden to your best player, right? Like with Kobe and Mike, the triangle offense took the ball out of their hands. So they had to figure out how to play a game with 2 dribbles or less, pull up, 2 dribble pull up, post up, off the ball, catch and shoot. You get what I'm saying? They had to figure out how to play that game while Scottie Pippen, Tony Kukoc, Ron Harper, Derek Fisher, Lamar Odom played point forward, and they had the ball. You know, they was able to play that game. So the heavier burden to figure out was with Kobe and Mike. I got to figure out how to score 30 in this triangle without the ball. Right. But the role players, I'm gonna give y'all an easy job because y'all get to play y'all natural thing. I figure out my B game because my A game is you give me the ball and get out of my way. Every great player can do that, but I gotta turn my B game into my A game, which is off the ball, and my C game, which is in the post. Right. So they took the harder burden, and with LeBron, he's telling his role players and co-stars, y'all figure out how to score. Y'all need to give me 25. So figure out how you get your 25. I got the ball. I'm gonna get mine. It's crazy, isn't it?
That's tough, man. Hey, before I go, man, you think LeBron can make a team draft his son?
Yes.
Okay. That's it. All right, man.
All right, bro.
Hey. One last thing, man. Hey, man, y'all got to give credit, man. Man, Mel, you be researching stuff, looking at videos, coming up with ideas. Hey, man, everybody hit the like button. This man really put in work, man. A lot of the videos you seen, Mel, I've seen them too, but I know you do a whole nother level of studying and breaking down things and taking notes. So, we got to pay homage, man. Keep doing your thing, Mel.
Man, I appreciate it, bro.
Yes, sir.
Thanks. Yeah, man, hit the like button for me, y'all. We're going to take one more phone call, then we're going to shut it down. Maybe 2 if they come in quick. Maybe 2. Maybe 3 if I get another super chat. That'd be dope. But definitely hit that like button. Caller from New York, what's up?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Okay, I'm glad to be on. First time caller, long time watcher.
I appreciate the call.
A couple of things. Yeah, thanks. Just a couple of things on LeBron James and, the misconceptions. Now, to address some of your callers before, the young guy with the math. If you take a player like LeBron James, he has all these accumulated stats for scoring, assists, but he also has a large amount of turnovers. Matter of fact, he leads the NBA all-time turnovers. So how do you evaluate that? Does that now take away from his greatness?
Well, I can tell you how they deal with that. They just ignore it.
Right. Right. Which is annoying, but that's how it is.
Not just all-time turnovers, but all-time missed shots as well. He took over for
correct.
that. Yeah, but Kobe's number 2. So.
Oh, yeah. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the misconception of making his teammates better. You kind of touched on it about players having to step back, but that is straight across the board for every team he's gone to. If you look at the Lakers now, his supporting cast play a lot better when he's not there.
Yeah, I think they beating the Bucks right now without LeBron.
Oh, really? See, I'm watching your show instead of the Bucks. Yeah, see, that's impressive for them. When you have, J.R. Smith, right? That big meltdown he had. LeBron didn't handle it well. When you look at, if you go back and look at the footage, look at the bench, the players around him, and he's losing his cool.
Yeah.
J.R. Smith feels guilty, feels responsible. All the other players are watching both of them. They actually could have won that game if the attitude was different. If it was like, okay, let's rally together. We got them. because they went in as the underdogs.
Yeah.
But they ended up tying, in regulation. So there's just a lot of misconceptions, a lot of ignoring. And I get it, it's a business and aftermarket, but a lot of people are being fooled by mainstream media.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. And that's why this show exists, man. I just don't like mainstream media narratives. And I like to clear the air out of it. And, and that's why the conversation around LeBron and Kobe happens so often on my channel. And I know a lot of people think it's redundant, and, definitely LeBron fans don't like to hear it, but that's the loudest conversation in the mainstream media. So I think
so you have to answer, you have to counter.
Exactly. It needs a counter. If the noise died down on their end, then the noise would die down on everybody else seeing on YouTube. But there's so many people that's tired of that false narrative being pushed by mainstream. And, we had to just set the record straight. Like, how do you tell us that a guy in Kobe Bryant that we can look at and see that he's the second best player I ever seen, but you're going to tell me that he's not a great player on the caliber of LeBron's level, and say that Kobe is like number 12 of all time, all because he played with Shaq and shoot 45% for his career? That don't make no sense at all, right? So
no, it doesn't. One more question before I let you go. I know you said you wanted to take 2 calls. What's your pick for this year's finals?
Man, I don't think nobody gonna be able to beat Denver 4 times in the West. So I think the only team that might can give them some trouble is possibly the Thunder. I think the Thunder can do some damage. For some reason, I think Sacramento has a chance against Denver if they see them. But other than that, if OKC or the Thunder don't get them, they go walk straight to the finals. And I think Boston should be able to meet them there. So I think a Boston Denver finals is in order, and I would take if it was just basketball, I would take Boston in that series. But but the fact that the NBA is not just basketball, I probably would put my money on Denver.
Okay, you're suggesting the refs might be favoring Denver over Boston?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They go favor what they could get more stories out of, and Jokic being the next great is a better story than anybody that's on Boston's team, Jason Tatum or whoever. Somebody's got to be a Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, or Karl Malone in Stockton. Somebody's got to be those guys. Or Carmelo. It's got to be a great that's going to get the short end of the stick, and it's got to be a great that's going to be collecting rings, right?
I see your point. But one thing, the return of the great Boston Celtics, you don't think that's a marketable story?
No, because the new initiative is to gain as much support and fan base from the European market.
Oh, okay.
And you have to have a star that the European market can look at and see themselves in. So they have to market Luka and Jokic to the max, right? The people that watch Boston they go watch regardless. That you hear me? The fact that they in the finals is good enough to pull them in, but the fact that we get to talk about Jokic being possibly better than Shaq, possibly better than Olajuwon, that gives conversation all year round. If he wins again 2 straight, man, we get to talk about Jokic amongst the greats until he retire.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so they know what they're doing. The best writers are just not in Hollywood. They everywhere. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, wait, one more thing. There was this, I guess, like a poster going around social media of who wins the all-time Bulls team or the all-time Lakers team with LeBron and Magic. You sparked the thought. It's a good one.
It's got to be the Lakers. It's got to be the Lakers. Well, Magic can play point, but it's got to be the Lakers.
So does that mean, from what you're saying earlier, that LeBron kind of folds? Do we get 2011 LeBron James then?
He would have to be James Worthy. He would have to be the James Worthy of the Lakers. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna be Magic and Kobe, and you got your choice between Kareem and Shaq, and Wilt. What do we need LeBron for? He's on the bench. You get what I'm saying? If I got Shaq in the paint or Kareem in the paint or Wilt in the paint, I need shooters so they can't double easy. And if I got Magic to run a fast break or Kobe, I can, they can be my secondary scorer. My power forward and my small forward, they gotta be somebody that can hit the three.
Yeah.
So what does that leave LeBron on? 6 man?
6 man.
You know what I mean? You'll have Rick Fox out there before you had LeBron. But yeah, they destroy the Bulls, because who the Bulls gonna have? Artis Gilmore at center, Rodman, Pippen, Mike. It's gonna be the Bulls. Yeah, it's gonna be the Bulls team that won with Mike. You know what I mean? There's nobody else to pull from. I think they had did they have Iceman one year?
I'm not sure. But Derrick Rose would probably run point.
Oh,
not Derrick Rose.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. D Rose. Yeah, D Rose, MJ. Somebody in the comments said it. D Rose, MJ, Pippen, Rodman. I think Gilmore was their best center, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I mean? So
right.
Yeah, the Lakers squad beat them probably easily.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the GOAT can't save them. But all right, man. Thanks for the call. I'm gonna take one more.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, let's get one more in here, man. Then we out. So it was a good live. This Dallas Sacramento game is gonna be for all the marbles. They fighting for that number 6 spot. Funky Town, what's up?
Hey man,
what's good?
Good to hear from you, bro.
Yeah.
Hey,
how was the show? How was the show today?
Oh no. So I was waiting. I let you clear out. I was giving them LeBron sexuals all the opportunities they needed to come on out here and say something. They were all kinds of warriors up in that chat, but they had nothing to say. They couldn't come up here and talk. I'm serious. I'm sitting back waiting. I'm like, this EIB. I'm still trying to see who this is. Like, come on out, let's play. But again, you're doing a great job, brother. I wanted to tell you that. That was really the thing, and quite frankly, just about everybody else covered this other stuff. Because I kind of get tired of jumping on LeBron. But one of the things that kind of irritates me about them jokers is they'll talk stuff like you were talking about stats, and then you were talking about the intangibles and stuff like that. And it's like he surpassed the biggest expectation. He surpassed expectations more than anybody. And then I'm going like, hold on, I was born tonight, but it wasn't last night. I seem to remember Charles Barkley at 6'4" being the best rebounder in the NBA as a power forward.
Facts.
Now explain to me how that's not beating expectations. And you going in there with men at that point. How about Magic Johnson? As far as I know, he's the only man in 4-year time span won a high school championship, a state championship at a high school. He won a national championship in college and an NBA championship, and being the catalyst or one of the most important players on those teams doing that.
Mm-hmm. And the gold medal. Don't forget that.
And but I'm talking. See, if we had not boycotted the '80 Olympics, he would have had a gold medal in that same time span. But again, they want to act like it just happened because LaFleur came in the league, and all of a sudden nothing else happened before that. Like nobody else did anything else that was, something worth saying is amazing. When I'm sorry, there were plenty of people doing amazing things all the time. You got to even go back to was it Hayes, Elvin Hayes? He's the reason why these dudes are going in the NBA straight from high school in the first place.
Yeah,
because that brother he went to the Supreme Court, beating expectations. I'm just saying. I mean, to me, again, I just wanted to congratulate you on a great show, and again, I'm kind of tired of messing around with old boy. I'm just waiting for a couple of them to show up.
Yeah,
speak on
look, as soon as we want to stop talking about him, the media pulls us back in. Like, you know, they keep at every time they have an episode of a show, they asking somebody who the GOAT is or who their top 5 is, and LeBron name always is in the center.
You're gonna have an episode of The Shop. You're gonna have Nick Wright open his dumb ass.
Yeah.
Now,
Well, so look,
you're gonna have. Go ahead.
This what just happened recently. Well, we know episode 2 of his podcast dropped tomorrow. So that's gonna give people something to talk about. And Mike Beasley just went on the OG's podcast and told everybody that LeBron is the GOAT because if you put him at every position, he's still the best at that position. So he's saying if you put him at point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center, and then take his stats, he's the best center, the best power forward, the best small forward, the best shooting guard, the best point guard.
Okay, how can you be the best point guard when you have the highest number of turnovers in both the regular season and the playoffs,
bro?
In NBA history,
don't ask me.
How? See, that's the thing. You say like, look, a broke clock is right twice a day. You can say anything. Like you can say words, you know, word salad or whatever. But if you actually listen to what people, they would listen to what they're actually saying. Like, dude, you sound stupid.
Yeah.
You're gonna tell me, okay, so he's the best power forward, but you telling me him against, like you would like the thing analysis you were making, LeBron James versus Rodman in the paint, who's getting the rebounds as your power forward?
Or LeBron versus the real best power forward, which is Tim Duncan. And it all boils down to stats again. He's saying if you look at his stats, okay, so if you look at his stats, he's a better power forward than Tim Duncan because of stats, but we obviously can see that Tim Duncan is better.
When they say stats, they're still talking overall stuff, which all leads to how long this dude's been in the league.
Correct.
It ain't, if you want to go game by game and series by series, or however you want to break it down and go, okay, let's go by rate of who does what. There's just that argument doesn't hold any water.
Right.
If you want to say,
but look, we don't even have to go that deep into it. We know it was a load of crap, but the only reason why I brought it up is because now, being a content creator, I gotta make the decision. Have I made too many LeBron videos? Am I gonna piss some people off in the comment section because they tired of LeBron videos, or do I address that nonsense? You get what I'm saying? Like,
no, brother, you gotta stay true. You gotta stay true to the mission statement. Like mainstream media. And when you say, like I said, I still don't understand how so many people are drinking the Kool-Aid when it comes to this. Like me personally,
me either.
I don't see it. Like I don't see it. It seems like too many people got personal stakes on making this narrative about this guy seem like it's there's not a blemish. Like it's like, okay, he's just perfect. This is the perfect example of what an NBA career looks like.
Yeah, it's also the perfect example of how people gonna be fooled by the Antichrist. I mean, imagine the media telling you, no, that's the Christ right there. He just worked a miracle, and the whole media telling everybody that that's the Christ, and everyone's gonna believe it.
I don't want to get too political, bro. Look what's going on in Palestine. You're gonna sit up here. We were both in the military. You're gonna sit up here and both tell me you're gonna try to tell me that's a war.
That's a conversation for we'll have that conversation just for the members.
Thank you. But you get what I'm saying. It's like, no, bro, you're gonna try to tell me my eyes are lying to me right now.
Exactly.
And this is the thing with him. Like, dude, I'm sorry. It's just to me, there's too many holes in his bag.
Correct.
There's too many holes in his game. And he's been dissected too many times. And like you said, somebody mentioned something about he's 41% this year at 3-point. Well, bro, with nobody guarding you at 21 years, you ought to be able to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like seriously, like what do we like? Right now, the Lakers just beat
Milwaukee
without him.
Yep.
They came back from 19 down.
Big win.
Yeah, big win. Big win. But even go back to the other stretch when he was going out. Look, what did they did the same thing. They were freed up. They were able to get moving when they needed to. And quite frankly, Milwaukee, I don't know what I watched Dame Lillard, and he seems to be going through the motions too much.
Yeah.
And like you watch it, he made that one pass at the top of the key. He'll either sit there and not move, or he'll shade to one of the corners if he gets the ball.
Yeah.
But you're supposed to be a point guard, like you said, a point guard running an offense.
Yeah. Well, but his limitations of what he's doing on the court with Giannis just goes to the limitations in Giannis's game. It's the same thing with LeBron. Yeah. Like, you got to take a step back, and you can't be your 100% self when you're playing with guys who need the ball to drive to the hole and with a wide open paint.
Bruh, I'm with you. But if you're a point guard, like a Jason Kidd or Gary Payton, you grab jokers by the scruff of the neck and you make them do it.
Yeah.
Hey, get your big ass on that block. You'll get the ball when you show for the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. When I hear this stuff, I go like, what game of basketball are they talking about? Because I'm still looking at this and I'm frustrated because everybody sits in this little this little on the perimeter. You got one guy flashing to the free point line, and that's offense. I'm like, I mean, you might get every once in a while you might get somebody flash through the middle, maybe,
yeah, maybe
work for some stuff. But it's like, no, I don't know. That's one of the reasons why I just don't particularly care for the game right now.
Yeah.
Like what I'm watching, the product.
Hey, Funky Time, real quick. Let me take this other call. Hold on. All right, Funky Time. Say your last thoughts, man, and I'm gonna take this. I got this other.
Hey, but no, that was good, man. Appreciate you again. Everybody have a good day. Y'all be safe, and hope to see y'all later.
All right, thank you, brother.
All right, man.
All right. All right, caller from Kentucky, man. You live.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Hey, cut YouTube off so you can just hear me talking to the phone, because if you're trying to listen to both, and plus I can be getting the echo as well.
Yeah, I was just calling in to say I'll take a fully loaded, fully healthy Minnesota to beat Denver.
You know what? That's a good point.
Because I like the size they got, and they healthy. You gotta have size to beat them.
But let me ask you this though: in the series with Minnesota and Denver, who do you think would have the backing from the league in that series? Who would the whistle belong to?
The backing from the league would be probably Denver, with Jokic.
And do you think Anthony Edwards is mature enough to be able to beat a team that has the refs on their side?
But here's the thing, though. I do because I think when I say healthy, I mean I'm talking Towns. Towns is back fully healthy.
Yeah.
And then they got that dude from LSU. I forgot his name, but he's been making those threes too. And that's another dude with size. He's size and he's making those threes.
Yeah.
Got his name.
You talking about Nas Reed?
Yeah, Nas Reed.
Yeah.
His 3-pointer looks tough, but he be making.
Yeah. He knocks him down. I think in real life, Minnesota would pose a threat to Denver for sure. In real life. But in NBA life and entertainment, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be an uphill battle. But that'll be a good series. But you're making a good point.
What about the point guard with all that experience? What's his name?
Mike Conley. Yeah. They stack up. They stack up good. I like it. That's a good pick. That's a good pick.
And then at one spot, again, was like a bench guy. He's just one of them guys. A slow mo. He's one of them guys you just like on your team.
Yeah, I like Minnesota for sure. I can't even argue with that. Yeah, that's that's a good pick.
Yeah, and Edwards, could. I mean, he could go and get you 40, 50, winning games.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm with you on that. Hey, but look, I appreciate the call, man. I'm gonna go ahead and shut the show down, man. I've been at it for 3 hours, man. So thanks for the call, man, and I appreciate it.
All
right. Thank you. Hey, thank y'all for everybody for being here. Hey, real quick, man, everybody hit the like button. Who's saying boo? I finally got in on the live. Boo. What? Yeah. You got to catch the live, man. If you turn the notifications on, then you get notified when I go live. You coming out here all late, man. Why you late, man? Why you late to the party? Yeah, I should say boo to that, being late to the party, man. Everybody else in here. Shay J in here, she showed up. And you know what I mean? Hey, the good thing though, is you get to rewind it. And you get to rewind it and watch the whole thing. Another hour, boy, y'all is off the chain. Are y'all crazy? Another hour talking about what? All my topics are gone. I talked about everything. We do another hour. A great show. Hey, so Matic, did you subscribe? Because you was in here earlier. You was telling me everything I was saying was wrong, man. Which is cool. I like people that disagree with me. But this is the thing. The people that disagree with me, I would rather y'all call in so we could have a conversation. And if you could see how I had conversations with people, it's not gonna be a debate or an argument. It's just, it's just a conversation. Like we all like the game. We all like football and basketball. And I think, I think it's good to have that type of discourse where we had different perspectives and stuff like that. I'm respectful if you're respectful to me. So for the people who disagree with me, even the people that disagree with me about the LeBron stuff, y'all can call in. Don't be shy to call in. I like the conversation. I like people to call in, man. So it just seemed like that only the people that agree with me are calling in, and I want the people that disagree with me to call in. I might even have a whole show just for disagreements. As a matter of fact, I might do that next Tuesday. Nobody can call in unless you disagree. Is that a good idea? Are y'all gonna call in just the disagreements? Oh, you was agreeing with me? Oh, I couldn't tell. But yeah, only the disagreements next Tuesday. If that's what y'all want, y'all let me know. You go call in one day. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna call in today. You can call in now and tell me what you think about this last topic. How about that? Yeah, why put it out? Why kick the can down the curb and call it and say I call in another day when you right here right now? You can call in right now. You be my last caller. How about that? You call in. As a matter of fact, if you call in, I'll do 30 more minutes. No, I'm playing. No, I'm playing, man. I'm out of here. Yeah, I appreciate everybody, man. Thank y'all for all the super chats, man, and all the call-ins and all the comments. All that stuff was dope. So I appreciate all that, man. And I'll catch y'all on Full Panel Friday. We'll be here Friday with the full panel. It'll be another dope show. Your No Diddy shirts will be available in the store on the YouTube channel if you want to buy the No Diddy shirts. I think everybody need to have one of these shirts, man, because I think we need to make it clear. And look, I don't know if you watched Dora the Explorer, but you got to say it 3 times like swiper, no swiping. You got to say Diddy, no Diddy. You know, when you tell Diddy no, you got to tell him 3 times like Candyman, right? So everybody should have this shirt, and we should make the point, Diddy, no Diddy. All right, but I catch y'all on Friday, man. Peace.